Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Yeehaw Lads podcast, episode number 21. Nick's playing hooky this week and decided not to show up, so we're just going to kick it off with Andy's story from over the weekend. What did you do over the weekend? I heard you got into some interesting situations.
Oh, shit.
Well, kinda. After last week's podcast on Thursday, I don't think I went home and did anything else to the camper. I think I was done for the night.
Probably not. It was like 9 o'clock by the time we got out of here.
Yeah, I maybe packed a bag or something at best. But then Friday morning, I know I did a lot of running around, just finishing little stuff. I think paying bills, and I probably ran to town, and I think got some other little stuff was all.
Just kind of getting your stuff in order.
Yeah, I had planned to leave town to head to Badlands by like 1 o'clock, and I think I left like between 1 and 1:30. I'm like, that worked out pretty well considering I just kind of winged it.
Kind of started doing stuff.
Literally didn't have any reason to get there that early.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll just kind of play it by ear and see what happens. And
you kind of just had no reason not to get there that early, honestly.
Yeah, basically.
You just like, fuck it, I'm awake, I might as well do something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now I remember what I did. I cleaned all the gutters on my house because my neighbor has a pine tree and it drops needles all in through. My garage is terrible.
Makes a hell
It's
of a
like
mess.
the entire gutter is full, and I have to by hand remove every inch of them, and they're fucking 4 inches deep. Then clean the house ones, make sure they were good, and then I cleaned the mass airflow sensor on my truck because it was completely chock full of carbon. That reminds me, I need to buy a new one.
On your 6.7?
Yeah. Basically, I've had a MAF sensor code of too much airflow since I deleted it, which was about 4,000 miles ago in February, I think, March or January, February, March, somewhere in there.
I think February, probably about right.
So it would never really bothered me. I can clear it. It'd go away for 100 miles or so and then come back on. You know, it between 100 miles and a mile. So it just kind of whatever.
And it never ran any differently with the code on.
Zero. And I also I was also going from it being bone stock to tuned, and I was switching tunes, so I was kind of getting used to that. And like nothing ever major, but I was just like, I saw somebody post in the 6-7 group on Facebook, and they were like replace your MAF sensor, and I'm like, well, I don't really have time. I read this like Thursday night when I got home.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can just brake clean the fuck out of mine and hope for the best and see if it helps. And I don't really think it did, honestly, because the code came up and didn't run any better. Didn't get any. Well, I was also dragging my crawler hauler setup, so I wasn't getting good mileage anyway.
Yeah, that arrow on that whole setup is kind of bad.
I think it was.
It's not
I
that
did
bad.
weigh it though.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to take any guesses?
Let's see. The truck is probably 9. The trailer's 6. That's 15. The Jeep's 5. That's 21. I'm gonna say camper's 2. I'd say 23 out the gate.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 25.
How
I'll go heavy.
How close is that?
I believe it was 20,900 pounds.
Oh fuck. Okay, it's
Yeah,
lighter.
So the truck, you were on the nuts. Truck is 9.
Truck's 9. Yeah.
Trailer's 5,500. I think the Jeep must be 4,500, and I want to say the camper is between 2 and 2,500.
That's almost too light. Like
I know.
was the truck empty or something?
No, so the truck had half tank.
Okay, that's still. I mean,
had the
that's
ramps
20
in the
gallons
bed.
out.
I didn't have a generator. The toolbox was still full. Yeah. So
Damn.
I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to weigh it. I was like, this is the first time I've had the Jeep caged, the camper mostly done, all on the setup. I figured I might as well see what it weighs.
Might as well weigh it out and just kind of
What
see.
a whole unit right there.
what
It
you're
is
looking
a
at.
unit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, headed down there Friday. Got there. I was just taking my time. Didn't really, like I said, I was meeting my buddy Brendan and Tom from Danville area, and then Tom's girlfriend, and they brought their little baby along as well.
Fancy.
Wow.
Proceeded to just hang out in the rain all fucking night because it rained from 10 a.m. Oh, this is another thing. I was trying to get my gutters cleaned and the MAF sensor on my truck done before it started to rain because it was starting to rain at 10 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock Illinois time to 11 p.m. Indiana time, it just fucking rained. So
It rained
Nice.
pretty much the whole time here too. I mean, it never.
I say I was out of state, so I don't know when it stopped here, but like it finally stopped raining in Indiana at 11 p.m. So it'd been midnight.
Yeah.
Oh,
my time.
easily, yeah.
Yeah, but by the time I got pulled into my spot, unloaded the Jeep, unstrapped it, unloaded it, put the jacks down on the trailer, grabbed my ladder. I had brought my dog as well, so that's why I brought the camper. Threw her up in the camper, let her. I walked her around for a second, but it was raining, so I didn't want to get her too wet. And then that way she's not wet, like crawling in my bed and all over the
Not
camper
just-
and shit,
laying
leaving
there
prints
stinking.
everywhere. Yeah. Threw her up in there.
How did she seem to do in there initially? Like first minute? Like she's been in and out of there kind of when you're
Good.
working
I mean,
on it,
she didn't
but
really care. I mean, it's
Blue doesn't give a fuck.
that
not.
is-
I mean, she wants to be out of it. Like you'll hear her whine every now and again, especially like if I'm walking near it. Like if I'm going to grab a beer and then walk back to the fire or something, you'll like there's a perfect like
Window
almost
for her.
floor level window
Mhm.
to look out the
Aw.
side door that I come through. There's also a window on the back where her dog bed is,
Mhm.
and she has like full vantage right out of that. And then also a little bit above that, there's a window like where the bed is. So if she sits on the bed, she can look out at an even higher vantage.
So
point,
pretty
too.
much no matter where she is, she can see
Unless
out
she's
and
sleeping,
see.
she can see out of it. Yeah, which
Sure.
like she loves sitting on the back of my couch looking out the window all day anyway, like
Right.
at my house. So I figured she'd be doing that, and that's what she does. So it's good.
Yeah,
Cool.
makes
Um,
sense.
No, she was pretty comfy in there. Besides the rain and it being so fucking wet and muddy,
Mhm.
all in all, it wasn't bad. On the way down though, the camper did leak quite a bit around the AC unit. I'm pretty sure is what did it most.
Oh,
That would
'cause
make the most sense. Yeah.
When it's sitting there, it's not bad because there's a drip rail above
Mhm.
it. So like when it just sits there in my driveway, it never really gets rain on the inside. But going down the road, it was pretty bad. So I definitely need to seal that up a little bit better, but not that big of a deal. It was also in the front end. It's all open. There was nothing important up there, so it all just kind of evaporated.
Yeah, the front end of it's basically a hollow wedge
Yeah.
with a little rooftop, and the AC's right above it. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Mhm.
unimportant until you get into the meat of the thing, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So I said screw it, and like no big deal.
Yeah, a little water in there's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, just another tube of caulking.
Yeah, pretty much that and weather stripping and all that jazz. But
yeah, that's just
oh
that's
yeah,
stuff
another
you figure out as
I'll say
you
another
go.
thing. I ran the extension cord inside, and I just had one power strip. I was able to power everything I needed to basically off one power strip.
Yeah, I'd believe that. Did you run the AC heater much or
I
not?
ran a fan the first night, and
Mhm.
I sleep shirtless with silk shorts, basketball shorts on.
Right.
I was perfectly fine under the comforter on a twin bed. Like
Okay.
I was plenty good. Blue, however, I did not grab her a second blanket to throw on top of her.
No.
So in the morning, she's like, she looks up and she kind of shivers a second. I'm
Oh
like,
my
oh
God.
shit. I'm like, Blue, come up here. Like, I'll
Animal
cuddle you. Like,
abuse.
so I spent probably 20 minutes cuddling her, just trying to warm her back up. And then we got outside and I took her for a walk to like get some blood pumping and stuff. She was good.
Get
But
the sun on her and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
The second night I ran the heater and I was too lazy to get up to shut it off, but it was warm in there.
It was
like,
getting pretty
good.
toasty.
Good.
yeah. So yeah. Didn't have to run the AC, but yeah, the little space heater heated up pretty good.
Mhm.
The roof is still not insulated for the most part. It's only where above the cabinets is where it's insulated,
Mhm.
not the actual like main floor area,
Right.
which is the majority of it, as well as the whole front wedge does not have insulation.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's just kind of, because it's put together, not necessarily finished.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's usable and
you just did the Pink Panther sheeting, right?
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
2-inch
foam
2-inch foam
stuff.
board.
Oh, I
Yep.
love using shit like that.
Yeah, yep.
Especially when there's a spot for it to sit
Yes.
in the stud wall like that. It's
Yes.
so nice.
Yep. Yeah, because I have a flat panel on the wall, and it'll be the same thing for the roof.
Mhm.
I'll be able to panel it flat, and then the wedge, I honestly might just leave the wedge open, like insulate it all.
Hmm.
Okay.
So put it on the floor, the
I
two
would.
walls, the little shelf there,
Mhm.
and then I'll like the corner of that
Yeah.
top area.
It's a good little place to just
throw
throw
shit. I have a big my sister gave me a huge Tupperware tub, like it's the
A
2 foot
storage tub.
yeah storage tub, so it's like
Mhm.
3 feet deep,
Yeah.
5 feet long, like deep.
Right.
Full of camping gear and stuff from when they went to
Nice.
Country Thunder.
Okay.
Little did I know there were ponchos in there that
Oh.
would have been very convenient.
When it rained all weekend,
Well, no, it rained all day Friday.
all day Friday.
I mean, hell,
until
you could
midnight.
even put up like a hanger bar in there and hang shit up.
I
wouldn't
do
get-
need to do like at least 1 or 2 coats because like once I was soaked, I just like I hung it up so it would hopefully dry
Yeah.
by the end of the weekend. That way, I just didn't have a pile of wet clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. But yeah, like that whole front area there's so much storage on this thing. It's crazy.
Mhm.
But yeah, I didn't go through that tub until today actually. So I didn't know the ponchos were in there. I saw there was an extension cord. I saw there was a lamp, and I saw there was the power strips is what they had bought, and it was just in this. I'm like, perfect. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. I have it.
Nice.
Sure.
Now, have you like ever thought about putting like a generator plug?
That is the plan. Yeah,
Okay,
I want to do like an
figured,
actual
like a shore power.
Yeah.
type
yeah. I
thing.
want to have
Gotcha.
the wiring done inside and have an actual outlet panel, like probably 4 or 6 outlets
just a couple
done
rocker
there,
switches.
and then also have its own breaker for the AC.
That
That way, the one plug will power all the outlets and the AC, and it's one cord going to either a generator or a
yeah.
And you could have like a 30
power site.
amp RV plug or
Yep.
something.
yes,
Or
but for big power on the plugins or even like the generators, all of them
Yeah.
have those
Yeah,
too.
I just go 30 amp because you can get the 30 amp to regular 15 and
Converters.
vice versa.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about buying a generator before this. Just throw it on the credit card, like get it done. I'm like, wait, I should see if they have fucking full like power sites. That way, it's more expensive, but like this, it was
cheaper than
$110 for the weekend.
it's cheaper than buying a generator.
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
way.
So I was like, well, fuck. I'm like, and in the end, I'm kind of saving money still.
Yeah.
So fuck
yeah.
it.
Yeah, buy a generator when you can get them on sale, not
Yeah.
when you decide all of a sudden I need it tomorrow. you
Yeah.
know?
But yeah, I'm like, oh, this is fucking perfect. What?
Party foul on
I
the
bumped-
mic.
I finally bumped the mic. It's
Oh,
been
man.
21 episodes and I finally goofed up a little
21?
bit. Hate it.
Christ. Well, cool.
But yeah,
Yeah. So camper did good.
Did it leak at all besides the
There's
AC?
the one side leaks a little bit, but I've re-siliconed it a couple times. I don't really know where it's coming from.
Gotcha.
I have a little idea, but I need to do a lot of custom fab work on the outside. Basically, I'm just gonna make flat panels to cover. Like it was an ambulance box, so there's old lights all over it.
right.
So I'm just gonna panel all of them. I'm just gonna do a sheet of steel. Get the right measurements, make it a perfect square. Go over top of it, self tap it, silicone the backside.
that way those just can't leak.
Exactly.
Makes it way easier than trying to seal a light or get new covers
Mhm.
for it.
Well,
a gasket.
and yeah,
Or
those-
wire up these old ones to work with
Yeah.
110. And I just don't
no,
care.
Just
fuck that.
Put a flat plate, and if you want a light, fucking bolt a light to the
Self tap
outside.
a
Yeah.
light to it and
Yeah.
run the
Be
cord
done.
inside. Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's not over width.
It shouldn't
it's
be.
No, it's 8.
No, it's,
No, just
It's
you
not
just
bad.
get little
It's
pod
fine.
lights.
Yeah.
Realistically, I can just do I'm going to do a movable one off the back because the back will be hanging over the back of my trailer.
Yeah.
So I can aim it towards either
like,
side,
mhm.
the
one on the
deck
like,
of the trailer.
Each
Put some
corner on
like
the
area
front.
lights on it.
Yeah,
front
yeah.
and back. That way you can just kind of swing them around to do whatever.
Mhm,
Nice.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, camping went good. We got pretty drunk Friday night. I was okay. I was more drunk Friday night than I was Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
But Friday night, my buddy Tom, they almost killed a handle of Crown. They were
Oh,
mixing
yeah.
with Sprite and stuff
Between what, like four
two
of you?
two guys.
Oh, Jesus.
Nice.
Yeah, it
Sounds
was
like my kinda
down to the
night.
last inch or so of the handle.
That's pretty good.
It was a handle, not the big bottle. It was a handle. And
Yeah.
they,
Oh my
they
God.
specifically went to a liquor store and was like, "Look at this! It was a great deal." And I'm like, "Oh, you guys are gonna die."
You're like, oh, you
They
thought
almost-
it
the
was...
one
It's going to
almost
be
did.
gone by this weekend, so it was in fact
Damn near.
not a great deal.
Oh, no, it was a good deal. You got their money out of
Oh
it.
yeah, he fucking upchucked Fruity Pebbles.
Oh,
And so the next day you look over, you're like, what the fuck is the neon
Somebody
colored
threw up
shit?
glitter.
Yeah, it's like what the it's neon at this point.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
oh good lord.
oh my God. That's fucking...
Everybody looked at that. They were like, what the hell is that? And like, well, did you see the Snapchats from Friday? Yeah. It's like, well, that'd be what Tom did.
That's the pile.
That's Tom's
Believe
stuff.
it or not, that's what happens when you drink all the Crown.
Yeah.
Christ.
God.
But yeah, it was a good time. So yeah, no wheeling Friday. Saturday morning.
So what was going on that weekend?
It was Customer Appreciation Day at the Badlands.
Mhm.
I was also able to register. All the guys who camped Friday night was able to register that morning, so we didn't have to be in the long lines at the registration at the big building.
You
Nice.
Which was
pre-registered
great.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
they had registration until like 10 p.m. So we
Sick.
yeah, it was good.
And like on a normal day at the Badlands, it's usually somewhat busy getting in.
Mm-hmm.
From every picture I saw, it looked like they were just backed up
Yeah.
fucking a mile every.
And also like it rained all day Friday, so like there's still a ton of people who didn't come to this because they were
Yeah.
like they either didn't like ATVs, dirt bikes who just didn't want to deal with it. Fucking people who were like, it's gonna be a sloppy mess. I don't want to rock crawl out and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
whatever.
basically just mud.
Yeah. So yeah, it was. I don't think it was as at capacity as it could have been, but it wasn't bad.
Sure.
It wasn't terrible. It was busy, but it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
normally it's like it's either stupid busy or there's nobody
Yeah,
there,
we-
just from the way it is. Up
Yeah.
there.
I'll say I'm not ever in a rush. I'm never gonna be in a rush anymore to wheel at the Badlands. Like I'm just here for all the people bullshit and stuff. So I think it opened at 9
Probably, yeah.
and I was wheeling at like 10:30
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
Like,
how? I mean, when we went
Just because I went down and helped somebody unload, bullshit
Yeah.
with them. They're like, okay, like let's go head to the quarry now and meet up with everybody. Like I
Yeah.
just didn't
Well,
didn't bother me.
That's what we did. Hangover run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hangover runs especially slow moving.
Well, yeah.
Kind of because it's
Yeah.
cold out, so nobody wants to like get up and start
Yeah, that's
moving.
part of it.
It's a very slow day.
Yeah, but get moving. Yeah, hit the quarry. Met up with some people. There was probably about 2 or 3 separate Total Off Road podcast groups that were going around.
Oh,
Just
nice.
like there was probably, well, there would be 1, 2, so 4, 6, 8. Maybe 8. No, 10 people.
There's a lot of people.
12 people camped.
Damn.
12 people camped.
in Badlands camping. Yeah. One guy, Mike, lives really close, so he drove down for the day.
Mhm.
2 guys from Pennsylvania came in and they slept in the semi. Which actually that'd be 14 then.
Yeah.
Uh,
technically.
Damn.
Then yeah, they left at Friday at like 11 or no. When did they leave? It was something stupid. I think they left at like 6 p.m. Friday. Drove straight through, got 3 hours of sleep in the parking lot in the morning, and then wheeled all day.
Christ.
Like 3 hours of sleep. AKA the truck was sitting for 3 hours. I think
Mhm.
they got like 1 hour total.
Yeah, they pulled
a
in
piece.
with 3 hours left.
Yeah, they were the second people in line at like 3 hours before they opened.
Jesus, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So then so yeah, that'd be at least 14 people camped.
Well, here's just a generic picture of like most of the stuff that was there.
Yeah.
Like this isn't even most of it. There's still a ton of people that aren't in this picture.
Hey, that Jeep looks like yours, Andy.
It is.
Well, that one is. Yeah.
Yeah. That should be about most.
Yeah.
Steve's missing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
That
9,
black
10,
TJ
11,
over to the
12, 13,
left is not ours.
There's 14 rigs in this picture. Say 1 or 2 of them aren't yours, and you're missing 1 or 2. So yeah, there's that.
the
12,
yeah, I'll say the
14.
razors aren't. Yeah, it was a good turnout. Like there was probably another. Well, shit, there'd be. Well, then there was Sunday at Wheeling too. There was people who didn't come Saturday. Josh Anderson
Yep, he just drove down for the day. I'm
and a
assuming then.
handful of people. He came with,
Mhm.
or 2 other rigs came with him.
Right.
But yeah, Saturday, like I said, it was just kind of wheeling the Badlands. It was pretty cool. Nothing crazy. Trail riding. If you want to pull up the picture of the ones in the line on the sand.
Yeah, I got that right here.
Dave's 2 buggy rig. Yeah. So yeah, us 4. Be my Jeep, Dave's 2 buggy Toyota, another Cherokee, Brendan's, and then a Grand Cherokee Tom's. We're trail riding for about. This is probably. I think I branched off from this photo to go grab lunch because I didn't eat lunch. I ate at like 2 p.m.
Mhm.
I just went up and made a sandwich. Everybody else had eaten because they all had free lunch.
Oh yeah,
Um,
because part of the appreciation day
yeah.
was the first like 500 people in
or
line.
no, you at noon you had to go get your ticket for dinner. But
Oh, okay.
but then you just branch off that. You go eat actual lunch, and then you save that ticket
Yeah.
for 5 p.m. and you get free food. Then
Nice. What did
Yeah.
they have?
I honestly don't. I didn't get it.
I think
Oh.
there was pulled pork from what I remember
Ooh.
seeing.
Yeah, it's apparently it was decent. There's
I
also
mean-
free. You get a free T-shirt with it, which I didn't get, but whatever.
Free food's always,
Yeah.
always
Free
free.
food.
Yeah, it was. I'll say it was a big turnout. There's a huge line to go get all the tickets and shit. We just kind of kept wheeling and stuff. No big deal.
Yeah, you explored the park while everybody else was stuck in like the
Yeah, it
sand
was nice
dune.
because there was nobody around at noon, and then at
Nice.
5 p.m. there was everybody up getting their food. I'm
Mhm.
like, dude, this is great because I had lunch at 2, so I'm not hungry. So I'll wait another hour or 2.
Wait
Or
till
no,
the-
I think
the
I probably
crowd-
waited till about 7:30 or 8 before I ate dinner,
So it's probably nearly starting to get dark.
and then we went out for a night ride.
hmm
Which that's where stuff kind of gets interesting.
Anytime
Oh.
you're at the night, the park gets
Yeah.
different.
This was extra good because usually their extended hours is to 9 p.m. It was to 11 p.m. this time.
Oh, good
Damn.
Lord.
Yeah, so like you have as much time as you want. Like it was 9 a.m. start to 11 p.m. stop.
That's a busy day.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Badlands is a huge park.
Oh yeah.
And like once it gets dark, it's a completely new park.
Yeah. Well, especially I had never been to an obstacle when we got to dark. I'm shocked. I did not know about this obstacle. It was really cool. It's the one I get kind of rowdy on.
Okay.
Yeah. We're trail riding some more, and the group all kind of merges back together, or it merges back together, but then it splits apart again, and I'm kind of with a different group of people. So it'd be me, Steve, the host, Dustin and his blue Toyota, Eric from Pennsylvania with his 2500 Cummins, and then
You want to pull up the big picture again?
no,
Okay.
I think it was.
Either way, I mean,
Use your words.
I think it was the Wheelers, Jordan and Nathan.
Oh, and their Durango.
Yeah, I want to say it was. Yes, it was
Is that the Durango that's
the
black?
black one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's black with like 33s.
There might have been
Yeah,
one more
things
person there. I
tits.
kind of forget, but yeah, that was us. We went up to, so heading into the quarry. You know how there's like the sign overhead and the creek's kind of right to your right. Well, instead of taking the trail, you jump down the creek.
Okay.
Well, most of the time, I either ride the creek all the way through, or I go up and I follow the trail that goes to the quarry.
Right.
Where it kind of Y's to a point. Well, in the middle of that Y and around a bend just a little bit, like it's kind of the back side of a wall is this obstacle.
Okay.
And Dustin's like, I've seen it before. I've never touched it. So apparently I'm not the only one who hasn't found this obstacle. It's just, like I said, it's just kind of in a weird area. And I'm like, all right, like, sure. Like
Fuck it.
if you haven't ever ridden it, I probably haven't either. And that's crazy because I've been here 10 times now.
Right.
So let's try it out. And so we
Fuck it,
all,
we're here.
yeah, we all head over. I think Steve knew where it was and maybe had driven up it before, but it changes so much, especially with all the rain we got. It was a whole new obstacle for everybody.
Oh yeah, the whole park becomes like not necessarily a muddy mess like something like the Cliffs was. The Cliffs would be disgusting if it rained a
Oh,
millimeter. But
Yeah, exactly.
it definitely adds challenge to it with it being soaking wet.
Yeah, I'll say the rain. It didn't rain much Saturday, maybe a sprinkle or something. But it was still so saturated from Friday. So
Just enough to keep it from drying out, basically.
yeah, it's mostly sandstone there. So like, if there's any moisture on it, it is slick. Period.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's when it's downpouring, it's equally as slick as when it's just damp.
If it rained this morning, you know, it takes just a
Or
little
if it's a
bit.
heavy dew and it's not sunny out. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not like sunny and warm, that rock does not hold any traction. It's crazy.
Yeah, and actually, I kind of fucked up. I was waiting on Dustin to finish using his Morphlate, which is a 4-tire deflator at the same time. You hook it up to all the same, and then there's one relief valve. That way, when you air down, all 4 are equal, and then you get it to whatever. It's a digital gauge, so you set it to whatever you want.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah,
Just
they
pop-
they push. They're a
Pull that up.
sponsor for Total Off-Road, and I need to fucking buy one. I need to not procrastinate.
Oh.
They're very cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah.
So you can deflate and inflate all the
Yes. Yeah. You can. Yeah. There's a quick connect is where the
Yeah.
deflate valve
positive.
is.
Oh, look at that.
But yeah. So
fucking
you
cool.
And it's all super high quality, like Flexzilla hosing and stuff.
How much is that?
$180.
Yeah, the
That's
4
not
tires are
bad.
180.
Yeah. Or you can get a dually one with 6 plugs, and it's like 30, 40 bucks more, whatever it is.
Yeah, they have their own digital gauge for an extra $25 too. Like it's
Damn.
their gauge will do 1 to like 150 or something. Like
Yes.
some crazy number.
Yeah, it is a crazy gauge. But yeah, so I was
Super
waiting
accurate.
for him to finish doing that, but I was like, well, I'll speed it up because his was taking a while, and he only his air up is like 20 psi because he runs like 3 psi because his rig is so light.
Dustin.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, his
whereas
Toyota weighs nothing
I usually run about 10, 11
because you have no bead locks.
because I have no bead locks. If I could do low singles, probably 5 or 6.
You could probably do like 7 in the front, 4 in the rear or something.
yeah.
Like
If I had bead locks, but I
If
don't
you had
want to
bead
worry
locks.
about blowing my bead.
Yeah.
Well,
Because fuck
I
doing
just
that on the trail.
man, been there, done that.
So I speeded up, so I pulled all the valve stems one at a time, and just like I was like, okay, it's starting to flex. I'll put it back in.
Bleed air out. Just by
We hooked
hand.
up the Morphlate and let it all even out for literally
5 minutes or something.
half a second.
Oh, okay.
Like it's just the second you hook them all up, they just kind of
Equalize.
if they're relatively close, they equalize pretty quick.
Yeah, the air from each tire can.
They
go
equaled
around.
out to 7.8 psi.
That's fine. Run it.
I did. I ran it the whole weekend. Didn't have a single problem.
Nice.
Didn't have traction because it was wet, but which I don't know what my situation is with this Jeep. If I'm keeping these axles or if I'm going tons, kind of probably gonna go tons. But if I do keep these, I'm gonna cut these tires because I want bigger lugs. Because they have good traction. They're a good like compound. They're decently sticky, but I think if I cut the tires and make the gaps in between all of the lugs bigger, it'll be more aggressive and start to grab more.
Yeah.
So I just need to get a tire cutter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like basically
take
the
your small
middle
ones out.
The middle I would cut half of those and I'd alternate.
So what you do with these is where the top of the mouse is right now, you cut
Yes.
diagonal through the point across into this one.
Yeah.
I've seen people do that, and it
Yeah,
works
and
out
you
really
flop
good.
them.
Yep.
Yes, and you
You
basically
alternate.
X pattern the whole way up and down.
Yep.
Basically, everywhere there's a divot in, you cross up to the other
Mm-hmm.
divot, and it works out really nice.
Yeah.
It makes the tire. It helps the tire flex around stuff and bite it because it's not one solid chunk. It's now two chunks.
Yeah,
because
because I hear like I listen to those tires, especially on the smoother rock. Like it sounds like there's so much contact. It sounds like a drag slick. It just sounds like one solid sheet. Whereas like people with really aggressive tires or like Tom with his cut boggers.
Oh my god,
It's comp cut boggers. So it is literally it is like a fucking beer can, then smooth tire, and then another beer can. Like it is aggressive.
yeah, a cut tire will make a huge difference.
Yeah, it is literally.
Now,
It's almost like his is almost paddle tires. They are so. It's a strip of tread, then smooth, and then a strip of tread. They are stupid. But even like regular boggers or like more aggressive tires and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it's on a rock with a ledge, you can hear each lug grip. And I'm like, I hardly ever hear that on mine. So if I cut them,
yours never sound like that.
I'll have more of a bite. Whereas instead of a slip, I don't want to slip. I'd rather have more of a bite.
Yeah.
That's if I keep them. I kind of don't think I'm going to keep these axles, and the wheels are only good for these axles.
I say if you're gonna go up an axle, you need to go up a tire size anyway.
True.
You know, because that's just not really.
Oh yeah, minimum 37s. Probably. I'm trying to do it all cheap. I've kind of priced it out. I need to do some math on crawl ratios, because I have a lead on some really cheap gears.
538's the only way.
456s for a year, aka 4 trips, and then buy a doubler, and then it evens out to just about what everybody else has in my head.
Yeah,
Because nobody else runs a doubler, unless all the Toyota guys do. So like Steve's has 513 with a stock transfer case
on 40s.
On
and
40s.
it's basically stock. It's the same gear ratio as if you were stock height on like 31s.
Yes.
With stock gears.
Exactly.
Like it's
so if
you have to get up to a point where it would where it evens out where you should be.
Yeah, he is evened out. Whereas if I go, like I said, I have there. It's Jade, who works at Busted Knuckle Offroad, which is the biggest rock bouncing company, or
one of for sure.
rock bouncer builder companies.
Yeah, but
ever.
Busted Knuckles, sweet.
They have factory 14 bolt 456s for $140 shipped to my house.
Like shipped?
Yes, shipped.
God damn.
That's
cheap.
Wild.
Yeah. So she's like, hey, like, if you want them, I'm like, I do, set some aside. But let me figure out. Then I would only need to order front gears, which would be expensive, but no big deal. I'd run stock axle shaft till I break them, whatever.
Run like a standard like a Ford 60 in the front, or do you want to go
05 plus?
Or do you want to go super
05
duty?
plus, yeah,
Okay.
might as well. It's becoming more popular. The more, like, even my truck has the same shafts and everything. So like the more that those trucks get into junkyards, the more plentiful they'll be. It's going to be the next 14 bolt.
It already is.
Like
People love the
exactly.
60.
Yeah, from 05 to 23 is all the same innards and gears and everything, brakes.
Essentially, which means you could put an e-locker in there, which is life changing.
On this rig, I'm not going to do that. If I
but-
cared and wanted to spend more money on a rear axle, I would put a electronic locker Ford axle in the rear.
Right.
But I'm going to do a cheap 14 bolt and a cheap Super Duty's front. And
14 bolts are ideal because you can shave them and save a ton of room underneath it and replace the bottom of the. Essentially, you just cut the bottom of the diff off, plate it, and then you got a super hard skid plate right on the bottom of it. Essentially, you put a piece of 3/8 or half-inch plate down there.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much better.
They're also plentiful, like we've been talking about.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And changing gears, changing axles, everything's stupid easy on them.
Exactly. And everybody runs them. They are the preferred 1-ton axle for the rear. For the rear, fronts is where everybody gets picky. Like, there's so many, there's this and that. And
so what bolt pattern do you want then?
Yeah,
14 bolts are
8.65.
8.6.5, where Fords are 8x170. Do you want to convert
Don't
the
really
rear
care.
up or the front?
that I haven't thought about because it's more of a in the moment thing. Honestly, I'll run mismatched wheels for a while because I just don't care.
What I would do is I would convert the Super Duty to 8.65 because that's going to be the more common wheel because everybody runs 14 bolts.
Yeah.
you get, you can just change the outers. I'm sure Busted Knuckle probably makes a kit to change a 60 knuckle over.
Yeah. Yeah, not a big deal. I'll say that's my thought. But like, yeah, back to wheeling. If I keep these wheels, I want to cut them. No big deal. But
Right.
yeah. One obstacle I was hoping to have it on. Actually, this obstacle, I really think my tire size is what killed me. Because you'll watch my rear axle and the momentum I was carrying should have made it up it.
Mhm.
But think of an inverted wall where the top of the actual wall is over 90 degrees straight up and down.
The wall's essentially, it curves in like a bowl. Almost.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is bowl shaped, but
It is over straight
over
up.
90 degrees.
Right.
Because it's been eaten out by everybody trying to get up and over it.
It's essentially the shape of a tire carved into it.
Yes,
like pushing against
backwards instead of it's reverse rounded,
Yeah,
basically.
right.
So you'll watch the momentum, and everybody else who has bigger tires, since the center of their axle would be about the same height as the top of this ridge,
They were able
it
to
would
get over
would
way
bump,
easier.
and once it got, like, you'll see my Jeep get air in the rear, but they would have already been on top of it.
Yes.
Mine crawled. It
In?
shot itself
Yes.
backwards because my tire was not tall enough to get onto the top side of the
Yeah.
knuckle, basically.
Yeah, if you hit the center of the
makes
tire
sense.
on it, it could squish and bounce up.
Yes.
Where you're squishing. and
Mine
bouncing
had to
down.
go back, and it, like I said, I think it just jerked my whole Jeep back, and my front tires didn't dig hard enough to pull
pull you
me
forward.
while my rear was in the air.
Yeah, you almost have to have enough
It was.
weight.
I mean, it was close, and there was no lack of trying.
Yeah,
If you want to go
you
ahead
were
and play the
you
video.
were well known for trying enough on all these.
Yeah. All this weekend, I was hard on it, and I only broke one piece, and I don't know if you'll see it in this video, but it's where
I've got
it.
the picture of you with it broken. But,
Yeah.
So here it's about 30-second clip. The audio's bad. I'm sorry. It's there.
Ooh, yeah, I see what you mean.
So you see how tall that ledge is compared to the tire?
Yeah.
The height isn't really a problem. It's the fact that it's pulling the tire down every
Yes.
time you hit it.
You're bouncing
And this is
backwards.
a very common problem with my Jeep. It's
All
just
the time. Every
like
time
the
we go
front
out.
end, it was really bad before I got a locker. Before I got a locker to help me pull up obstacles. Now the rear is just, it needs to be bigger so I can, once I get the front up because I have the locker now, I want to be able to see how it
What
came
just
up.
fell off right
It was
there?
a tarp. Yeah, it was just sitting in the
By
back.
the way, nice fucking rock lights.
Yeah. I repositioned my light bar I had on the roof. It fit perfectly in between the frame rails on the bottom side. So I copied my buddy Dustin and put a light bar
underneath.
underneath my rear bumper, essentially facing forward towards my engine. That way it illuminates all underneath.
Throws. Yeah.
Yeah, to create a light pattern.
I mean, there
underneath
was a
the
lot of light there, but you can definitely tell you
Yeah.
had a lot of throw up underneath
Yeah,
there.
and then I had really shitty flush mount pods
Meh.
up in my engine bay facing down at my front lights.
Mhm.
They worked, but it was just not a good light. But it was something. So
compared to the normal rock light that's one LED.
yeah,
It's better than it floods out and kind of
it
spreads
floods
around.
out, but the brightness, it was like a 2 or 3K,
yeah,
whereas like the light bar is like a 10K.
yeah, it does make a difference.
Yeah, but I'll say it was something. I had them, I threw them in now, and I have them wired in to a plug to my factory fog lights. So I just have it
Nice.
on that switch. The only thing I have to have is my marker lights on. So I have 2 positions on my headlights.
Mhm.
It's markers
markers and then headlights.
and then headlights. So marker lights, and then I flip my fog light on.
Yeah.
and they're on, and
Cool.
the fronts are on, and then I have just a completely separate wiring harness for the rear light bar, so I can turn that on
Right.
anytime.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
But yeah.
is that the obstacle that you broke?
So
Something.
yeah, I broke a shock stud is what I've been calling it.
Oh.
So with my setup here, it basically uses the factory Jeep style mounting, which is a tab
For
that
the
comes
shock?
down. Yeah, there's a
Okay.
tab that comes down off the axle, just a flat piece of metal. Then there's a bolt. There's a hole in it. There's a bolt that goes through it,
Mhm.
which if you're looking at it sideways, the right side of it has threads, and then there's a big washer where the bushing of the shock goes.
Mm-hmm.
The threaded part on the right side goes through the tab. Then there's a nut on the back side, but my nut was welded to that tab, so it was permanent there. No big deal. The front side of it, like I said, there's the big washer where the bushing sits. There's a thicker part of the bolt where the bushing is meant to be there, and then there's the threads on the left side of this bolt. So it's both ends are threaded. The left side has the area for the bushing to sit.
Is
And
this on
then
the front of the back?
Rear axle.
Okay, so I think I've got a picture that'll show.
Yeah, because
It is
I'm
very
a
confusing.
little confused.
It's weird to think about it, but
Yeah.
once you see a picture of it, it kind of makes more sense.
Yeah.
It basically just hangs
gotcha.
off the rear
Yeah.
axle. Like
Yeah.
this is, I think this might be an aftermarket. It looks like it's kind of boxed weird, but it's
Yeah.
the same
Still,
idea.
same basic concept.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's an 825 or that is an 825.
Well, yours
yeah.
is an 8.8, but
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they cut the box or the brackets off of an 825 and just put them on this 8.8.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive.
it looks very similar.
But yeah, but like I said, the problem with that is all the ones I snapped the threads on the right side, like what threads into the bracket
Yeah.
off, so that bolt technically was stuck in the nut on the bracket.
Lovely.
I'm like, whatever.
Mhm.
Unbolted the shock so it didn't ruin it coming back to camp.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just gonna bounce around and hit shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin. What's funny is Dustin's 1-ton Toyota manual rig with a cage
I fucking
did
love
not
that
even
thing.
get up onto that ledge.
And you just gave it. Well,
The beans.
I did my
I
thing.
say he doesn't quite hit it as hard as you do.
Yeah, I
Most
did my
people
thing.
don't.
I'm momentum driven. He is not. He has a Toyota, so he has all of the crawl ratios. So he tries to crawl everything. Granted, he does a great
He
job
does
with it,
crawl most.
but he didn't get up there. I'm like, well, I want to try.
Mhm.
So I get up there and I see it. I'm like, hell yeah! I made more progress. I could have made it if I had bigger tires. That's where my excuses
Start picking
start.
up excuses. Yeah,
But my excuses are a lot further ahead down the road than Dustin's were. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
And-
I get to give him shit. Hell yeah.
and everybody kind of agrees with your excuses of if you had
Yeah.
more tire, it would be more easier. Like that is,
But everybody already says, oh, you shouldn't run 35s on a Dana 30. So
and it
it works for the most part.
Should you? Probably not. Does it work? It sure does.
Yeah, for now. But yeah, so I get up there, I'm like, great. Then Steve, in his Cherokee on 3/4 ton axles, a Dana 44 and a 9-inch on 40s, he's like, yeah, I can get up there. So he goes, and he's a little bit longer wheelbase than me. So that means the center of his Jeep, the belly height is closer to that knuckle.
Yeah.
Because his Jeep is very low for being on 40s.
Yeah, it is a very low center of gravity.
Your Jeep on 35s and his Jeep on 40s are almost the same height.
Mhm.
Yours might actually be a hair taller now with the cage.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and I have, but that just means with the weight of the cage up high, it's even more tippy than his would be because he's not caged.
Yeah, but his Jeep sits very low for having 40s on it.
Yeah.
Not as low as Josh's, but low.
Yeah. So he gets up there, he gets his front up, pretty, relatively smooth. He's about in the same position I am. He's getting a lot of traction because he's a lot lower PSI in his tires. His tires are also a better compound.
On beadlock, on better tires.
He is gripping a lot more. He heated them up a little bit, so they're stickier too. And the first video of him, he is bouncing this motherfucker like a lowrider.
Well, yeah.
I mean, literally, he is getting 2 to 3 feet up, just bouncing because
damn.
it's gripping enough to pull him up, but he's almost fighting the same thing I was.
Mhm.
There's no,
There's
it's
not enough
it's
wrap
not
around
smooth-
of
it's
the
not a smooth
tire.
transition. It is a reverse.
You almost have to beat it up there to
Yeah.
get it to
Yeah.
do its thing.
So he's just bouncing, getting traction. It was good. And then he started bouncing again, and this is when his drive shaft decided to kiss the ledge because, like I
Ooh.
said, his belly height is a lot lower. So it just went
Didn't
tink,
his,
and then it twisted, and
Didn't his slip yoke pop out last year?
That Dustin's fell out last
Oh,
year.
Dustin
that's right.
Steve's.
Sorry.
mhm.
Yeah, it's a little 14-second clip. Do you want to watch that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty
It's
good.
alright.
Like I said, like he probably got a couple feet of air. That's all traction.
Even listening to it, you can hear it.
He thought his shocks in the rear were bottoming out.
What was that?
What was that?
Famous last
Yeah.
words.
Well, so he heard the noise. You could hear it, and I really do think that his shocks were bottoming out because he's like, I know what that sounds like, but it also sounds like when a drive shaft hits a rock because he's done that quite a few times now too.
I don't know if it was bottoming out. He's got pretty decent shocks on there. It would probably be close in the back because it was
Yeah.
bouncing pretty far. but
Yeah.
I'd have to look at it closer.
But I'll say so. He was pretty convinced that was the noise, and well, I mean, granted, he knew immediately that he broke a drive shaft
say-
when that happened.
until something breaks, you pretty much.
But yeah, he
assume.
did. He bounced on that. I mean, I bet he did 15 bounces in total over like the two separate like. He bounced and then stopped, and we're like, "Holy shit, that's funny!" Video it,
Yeah,
and
try
then he did
again.
it again. And then I think if he would have tried an actual crawl or a slight reposition and like change his angle to get his drive shaft to a
better
less,
spot,
a less
spot.
dangerous spot, I think he would have made it.
If you'd have essentially,
Well, I know
taken
he
it-
would have because Josh Anderson got up that obstacle the next day.
fair.
So
Yeah, if we would have essentially, I don't want to say take it more serious,
yeah,
but like
yeah,
don't
It
have
was-
as much fun almost.
yeah,
like, just,
exactly.
like
Yep.
okay, hold on, let me back up, move over a foot,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
You want that next video of the
yeah, sure.
aftermath of that,
Yeah,
essentially?
yeah. It's so like I said, it just kissed the rock and it dented it.
Oh.
And so once he was under load again, it just twisted it right in half.
Broken.
Literally.
Goddamn Adam Shaft. Yeah, he has not had good luck with his Adams drive shafts. Not to a lot of fault of their own. He is a little hard on them.
A little
but-
bit of improper maintenance and a
Well,
little bit of abuse.
apparently it's everybody has like so I think they narrowed it down to the fact that the tolerances are so tight that when any sort of moisture gets in there, it's
basically-
not like your old like everybody's stock Cherokee shafts that are they all have 100,000 miles on them, so there's a little bit of groove in the spline, there's
yeah,
room in the
and
splines.
everything.
So if it rusts, it also breaks free because there's still that.
There's enough
with
room for it
these-
to break free.
With these, they're brand new steel on steel. If the grease is out just enough to get water in there and rust, well, now the rust is just solid
Yeah.
between every fucking
Right.
spline.
Yeah.
So they just stick.
Yeah. Self-clearancing versus
Yeah.
Versus just tight
locking
tolerance.
up.
Yeah. There's just the tolerances are not there. So, yeah.
Picture sideways, but
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
see
It's
pretty.
wing wangs out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty.
So
pretty broken.
we jumped under there. Me
you
and Dustin
rotate
jumped
that at
under
all?
there, and
Oh yeah.
we took it out. And I looked over at my ring. I'm like, I should probably take off my shock as well.
Since you knew it was falling off, essentially.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to rip it off on the drive back to
camp.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what though, when we were taking that off, Steve's like, "Oh, I got that headlamp." He has a Odelphi, I believe, is the brand.
Okay.
Headlamp. It's just it's the strip across your forehead. headband.
Oh.
Dude, it turned the underneath of that Jeep into daylight.
Okay.
I've seen him use it quite a few times before, and it looked like a good headlamp. But holy shit, I'm pretty sold on it. Now.
And
How much
having
are
a-
they?
$40
Oh,
maybe.
fuck.
yeah.
Like it good. It's worth
40
it.
bucks for a good headlamp.
And not a spotlight headlight.
Yes.
A flood. Because
It's a both actually.
Well,
there's a side on the battery box on the side itself has a spotlight, but the flood is it throws it very far. It would light up this entire room.
Nice.
Because normally what you have is one bulb in the center, and you're kind of
Yeah.
adjusting that, and that's
Yeah.
never really. It's never enough spread because it's one bulb.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Having a band of light.
The band that is ungodly bright. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Nice.
awesome. So yeah, literally turned underneath that Jeep at this is probably 10:30.
oh, I'd have to assume so. Yeah.
Well, no, it was probably 9:30 to 10 because we did not have and once we broke, we were like, oh, we still have plenty of time to go back to camp. Where it's not even like end of night riding yet. But we had 2 broke rigs, and Dustin didn't want to break, and Eric's that Cummins, he just has
yes.
tires on it. It's all stock
It's
lifted with
basically
tires.
bone stock.
He after watching him beat on it all weekend, he then proceeds to tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna put my 5th wheel plate back in it and tow my camper." I'm like, "What?"
You're like, oh, he's crazy.
I'm like, I didn't know.
crazy.
And it sucked because I spotted him on a couple obstacles, and I felt so bad
you, like,
because like I
told
didn't
him.
know it was not a dedicated wheeling rig.
You were telling him to beat on it harder, and he's just like, okay.
Oh, he slammed the front like core support a couple times. I'm like, that's a
Ooh.
fucking it's a 3500 Cummins. Like we're good. This thing's tough.
yeah, it's a beater.
But I didn't know it
It's
was
a
like
beater.
he's gonna go drive it 70 mile an hour down the interstate.
Me to my daily
You know,
driver.
a month from now.
I
It's
mean-
a shit box. Fuck it.
just gonna put the plate back in it and run it. You're like, that's not what I was expecting you to say today.
You did not know that.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Good for that
So-
guy.
Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was from Pennsylvania, out by Scranton. So he was like a 10-hour drive or something to Indiana.
Hey, we almost did that.
Yeah.
We were close by.
Then
We were like like an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
yeah. So once we broke, went back to camp. Everybody hung out. Yeah, we had. This was probably the furthest driven. One like meetup.
Mm.
Oh, from Pennsylvania, you mean?
Well, yeah, we had him from Pennsylvania. We had another guy from Wisconsin came down.
Mhm.
Then we had. I mean, Mang's from Chicago, so that's a good ways also.
Yeah.
Yeah, because how far is it from here to Badlands? Like
2:45.
2.5 hours?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
just under 3.
So just call it 3. So Mang drove like what?
Well, 3 also. It's technically closer, but
Oh yeah, because
getting out of
over and down
yeah.
instead of down and over.
You're just running a different angle, essentially.
Yeah.
Same trip, but a little different.
but he has more traffic, so that's where that
Mm.
comes up. But yeah, the one guy is like Milwaukee, suburb of Milwaukee.
Oof. Yeah.
So he had a
Fuck
4.5,
that.
5 hour drive, and then the Pennsylvania guys were 10 hours each way.
Mhm.
But yeah, all in all, Saturday went pretty well. Like I said, we all just came back, hung out, drank.
Do you want to see a video of you actually making it up something?
I
Sure.
would.
You know?
Oh yeah, this obstacle was pretty cool. I've hit this a couple times when I was open, and I do not ever remember getting up it.
No, we never made it up there because you would bounce off the
this-
ledge and then your front would pick straight up.
Yeah,
So this is quarry
yeah.
wall.
This would be if
This
you're-
is not the back wall.
pond.
This is near the pond. Yes.
Yeah.
This wall.
you'd be if
Yeah,
you're looking
'cause
at the
here's the
back wall,
pond.
it'd be off to the left.
Yeah.
And back.
Pond. There's a
Yeah.
little ledge like right next to the pond.
Yeah.
This is just up from that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're probably only 20
Almost
yards
been a
from that
Year
little ledge.
since the first time
Yeah.
I've been there, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey, I
Yeah.
figured I
It's
mapped
next
that
to the
pretty good.
little ledge wall next to the pond.
But you can see as soon as your rear tire hits, it's that same problem. It unloads the front.
Yeah.
It's trying to pick it
Yeah.
up. It's sticking into it.
Honestly, I was shocked how easy this went.
And you can see the tires are caked.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
It
look
was
at
it was a beautiful bump. I
That-
was
that
like
was.
maybe 2/3, 3/4 throttle. I didn't even have to get really ignorant with it, which I was
Nah,
surprised
that,
about.
That was a nice
It
clean
was-
bump up there.
I thought it would have took 3 tries. It was 2.
I was
well, it was
surprised it went
a
up that
main
easy.
run, a reposition, and up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fact
So,
normally it takes
damn.
about 5 of those, and you're like, oh, okay, that's enough. I
Yeah,
should
and on the
stop.
last one, I'm like, give her hell, and either I'd make it or I'm like, I'm gonna start breaking shit.
literally make
Gonna
it or
roll
break
it.
The one. I'll say that was Saturday. Like I said, that was one of the only obstacles I've never been up that I was able to get up.
Mhm.
We did find a kind of a not well traveled ledge, not very big, but
Okay.
it did prove somewhat difficult for everybody. Well, more difficult for me, but like the 1-ton rigs, a couple of them had a little struggle on it. I'm like, okay, I don't feel that bad for not making it. I was the first one to hit the obstacle.
Yeah, so you get to show them.
I literally was blazing trees. Like I kind of walked the wall to the left, and there was a big tree there, and I just like my front tire ate it and shoved it back towards my rocker panel,
Oh my
and it
God.
just like my Jeep just kept moving, so I kind of like literally just moved the bush over like
Yeah,
off of the
fuck it.
obstacle.
You're
I'm
like-
like perfect.
As long as I keep moving, we're fine. If I stop,
Yeah.
then it's a problem.
But yeah, I bet I hit it 5 or 6 times. This was Sunday when I did this obstacle. Yeah, probably 5 or 6 times. Didn't make it. I watched all the 1-ton rigs go up it, and I'm like, man, fuck me. Like it, come on. And we were joking like, the next guy to hit it, I forgot who it was. I think it was Josh Anderson, and he like, it was one little like slip, and then he backed up with hair, and then he just walked up it. I'm like, fuck. And I was like, hey. I cleaned that ledge for you, right? And he's like, yeah, you cleaned the bush out of the way. I was like, see, I was cleaning the trail.
Yeah, broke it loose for you.
Literally, and he's like, I think you actually might have, like, after, because there was then probably 4 rigs that went up it. So then he's like, Josh is like, we can get you up there. And I'm like 3 tries. Like, I'll do 3 more. It's Sunday. I'm not trying to break today. I'm still trying to go next weekend. This from today.
This upcoming
as
weekend.
we're recording this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, it's hard to say this weekend when we record on a Thursday, but it comes out on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
So
understandable.
this weekend is next weekend,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So I was gonna do back-to-back wheeling weekends,
And still
and
planning
I
on
should
it.
be able to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, not trying to break on Sunday,
Mhm.
like, and he's like, I told him I'll give you 3 tries.
Mhm.
That's it. I gave you 5 or 6 the first time. I'll give you 3 more. He's
And
like, all
knowing
right, we got it. He said he's like, you'll do it in 1. I'm like, fuck.
You're like, of
Bet.
course he says that.
I'm like, whatever. And so I get up to it, and I'm like, all right. Like, he's like, all right. My line choice, he's like, no, 6 inches to the right. I'm like, really? I'm like, all right.
Mhm.
Move it over there. Fucking get up. My rear axle gets up probably halfway up the wall. And he's like, driver. And I'm like, I just barely correct just to start walking at driver a hair.
Mhm.
It grabbed and walked right up. I'm like, you
Nice.
gotta be fucking kidding
You're like,
me.
it was that
I
easy.
was ignorant the first 5 or 6 tries on it, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It
Because you were
worked.
6 inches to the left, and
Yeah,
that's all
6
it
inches to
takes.
the left, and I cleared it off all the
All the
like I
brush
said,
and-
this ledge it is literally on the road around the pond.
Mhm.
So like if you go up by V Notch and then you drive the trail all the way back around to the pond to that lower little wall,
Yeah.
it's in that trail over there. There's one little ledge.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody ever goes over there specifically to wheel that.
Because they come back from V-Notch and are usually heading to somewhere else.
Exactly. So yeah, so it's not hit much. So like it literally looks like nobody's touched it in like there's maybe 2 or 3 people who run it
You almost have to
every 3 or 4 months.
You almost have to know it's there to
Yeah.
even try it, because otherwise you're like, I'm driving past. It doesn't matter.
And there's a bypass right next to it. So if you're coming back from V-Notch, you're like, I'll just do the bypass. I don't need to do this.
It's like last time we were wheeling there at night. We're driving just down a trail, and they're like, "Hey, stop! I see a line," and they just drove up on the right side. Steve and Dustin both did it. I don't remember where exactly we were at that point because we had left.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah. That
But-
would be instead of taking a left to go to V-Notch, I think it was to the right, and we took like the outer trail around the
Yes,
quarry.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is what it was.
Because that's I
almost
remember
positive.
we were near V-Notch, but we didn't go back towards.
Yeah, I
the
want to say it
pond.
was like
We
to
went
the
other
right.
way.
Yeah,
I would
almost more
believe that.
towards the back wall.
But literally driving around there, you're like just driving like that looks kind of like a
Yeah.
line.
Like, oh, I don't remember seeing that during the day, but it looks neat now. So let's try it.
Same thing here. It's just like,
And then
I
it's way
wonder-
more difficult because it's in the dark and
It's in the
everything.
dark. You don't know how it goes or how to get up it. And you're like, send someone up there, see what happens. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
unlike the cliffs where you do something like that and there'd be a fucking hole after it.
Yeah.
You get halfway up a wall, you're like, oh, I'm gonna fall and die if I keep going. Like, back up.
Yeah. But yeah, Sunday. Well, I'll start back on Sunday morning, I guess. Sunday morning, slow moving. Like I said, I'm doing nothing. The only thing I know I got to do is fix the shock.
And that's
and
really-
my exhaust fell off as well. I had a little
'cause
tack.
You knew it needed fully done, and you didn't do it.
Yeah, correct. Well, I fixed the rear. It's hard mounted to the body in the rear now.
Sure.
The front, where it comes off the header, I had kind of banded together. I tack welded. I did a little tack on either side of the pipe, and there's a clamp around it. And it held up for 3 or 4 wheeling trips. So I'm like, I don't really want to completely redo the fucking exhaust right now. So I'm waiting to do that. I think I have a good plan of how I'm going to do that later on from now.
Just
but
Band-Aid it
for
again
right now, it'll
now.
work.
Until you like
Right
pull-
now, it's only held on with the clamp. So if it holds up all this weekend with just that clamp, great.
Good
if
enough.
not, then I'm just going to run it open header and call it good enough.
I'm sure everybody else will love that.
Everybody knows what a 4-liter without a fucking exhaust
Everybody.
sounds like. So yeah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, they'll hear you across the park, be like, oh,
Hey,
there he
this is going to be private owned land, so there's no decibel level
Warning.
maximum. Yeah.
That is true.
So
It is probably also harder wheeling than what you did at Badlands.
I will
Some
see.
spots.
Yeah, I'm hoping we do some of the lines that they talked about at Core.
Like the waterfall and stuff.
yes, yeah.
Stuff that they're like, hey,
North Ravine, I think is what it's called.
I think that's what they said.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want body damage, don't come here.
I'm like, I have a cage to protect my drip rails, and I only have one glass panel that I.
care about.
Yeah, well, I don't want it to. It's not
Like
the windshield will not
Windshield's-
fall out.
no.
It's the rear backmost
the quarter window.
quarter window, which I have a replacement for, but I left it in because I don't have enough stickers to cover that yet. So I'm like, I don't want to like take glass out just to leave it open. I want to leave it in there for a little while.
You want to crunch the panel in so it won't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Yes. And we'll replace it with a steel panel because fuck, it doesn't
Yeah,
fit.
but I just
anymore.
don't have enough stickers to cover that panel yet. So I'm
Yeah.
close.
So
I'm
send it-
hoping if I buy all that, if I do tons this winter, I should have enough stickers. To
You
cover
are
it.
awfully ambitious for
I
not
know.
having any money.
You are correct. Well, we'll talk about. We can talk about that next week.
Yeah.
But yeah. So,
So Sunday, nothing
yeah.
broke.
Sunday morning, I started looking at the shock. I'm like, all right, like it broke. Brendan had a drill. Brendan was leaving Sunday morning. Oh, so yeah, nobody was wheeling Sunday morning. Steve was gonna, but he broke. He ended up riding with me.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody left except for Josh and his one buddy with a TJ on Baja Pro XS's, Mike's tires.
Well, yeah, one of
but
my favorite
40s.
tires.
It was the red TJ. Oh, beautiful.
So when you're talking about tire lug and bite and stuff,
These things, yeah,
these are the tires that actually do those things.
they are.
Good fucking lord.
They
are
look like tractor
extremely
tires,
aggressive.
but they are also super soft. These are sticky compound. This guy had a sticky compound version, whereas Mike has DOT approved.
There's the X and the XS. The
that
S is the sticky.
489, $500 per tire.
Oh,
Yes.
Dear lord.
Yeah,
They're
that's
Them
not
some
even. I
nice
bet that's not even a
fucking
40.
tires, though.
probably not. Let's see where this takes us. Oh, select diameter. Okay.
Yeah.
40, 691.
Oh my
$100 a
god,
tire, yeah.
$700 a tire.
These are Mickey Thompson's, buddy.
Yeah,
These are
yeah. Mickey
real-ass
Thompson's
tires.
don't fuck.
Are these sticky?
XS, yeah, sticky. I think S is the sticky compound.
Damn. mud scoops.
I don't know. It says a bunch of things.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But they have really big lugs, but they're also very soft, so they fold
and that's
so to get traction.
Oh yeah, and that's,
It's not like a bogger that has really hard
Yes.
lugs to
Mhm.
like really throw mud.
Yes.
These are for rock crawling, so they flex over
yes,
all the
which
rock,
is
which
exactly what you want.
yes, that is. You want them to kind of stick to it and pull
And
themselves
deform.
up.
Yeah.
We're like, so when we were at, not Vandy's, the other park we went to,
Loop.
A lot of the stuff there was almost a smooth enough rock that your tire would catch and keep pulling because you had a very consistent pattern. It wasn't bouncing on and off. A lot of that was like tire speed. You could get the tire hot enough, it would bite and pull.
Yes.
Where something like a Pro XS works almost everywhere. 'Cause it will dig onto it and grab.
Yeah.
Like, literally grab the ledge and pull up it.
Yeah, very aggressive, but
Yeah.
really cool.
Super cool tire.
So
Love
yeah, it
those.
was me, him. It was me, Josh Anderson, which is a Cherokee on Super Duty axles and 40s and coilovers.
Yeah, super. He just did the 4-link. What, the last year? Not. He finished it last year.
fall, I guess.
Yeah.
because he had it for
For a hangover run.
hangover run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it was the dude we met before the day before, which was a 6-liter swapped JK 4-door on tons and 40s, and he got pretty rowdy.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Then there was a really nice JK on 44s and 40-inch tires. But he either had the axles sold or had the Jeep sold like Wednesday of next week.
Oh,
Like,
so he was like,
he's like he was gonna go up an obstacle. He didn't have sliders, was a big thing. He's like, I would have hit a lot of things, but I watched you guys hit your sliders and I don't have them, so my body would get fucked. I'm not doing it. I'm like, oh no, like
yeah, no.
and dude, I'm telling you,
absolutely.
this thing's paint is better than Josh Anderson's. Which Josh Anderson's,
His is super nice.
dude,
for
it
being a
is
trail rig.
He has buffed the paint before, like a couple times. He's also owned it for 15 years, so like he kept really good care of it.
Yeah.
Like it is a beautiful trail rig. This thing looks like a mall crawler, but the fact that he was out here doing this stuff, I really like respect him for. But he's like, I'm pretty sure it was the axles were sold, and he had a locker problem. So he's like, I'm not gonna hit these obstacles like crazy trying to get up them. When the axles are sold, I'm not breaking anything. The locker in the rear was electric, and he's like, I think it's just a broken wire. But again, I don't want to fuck anything up trying to get over this obstacle. I'm just here for fun. I'm like, understandable, no big deal. So yeah, it was the blue 6-liter swapped JK, red TJ with those big stickies. Josh, me, the really nice black JK, and I think that was it.
Sure.
I'm almost positive that was it.
It's a good little crew.
Yeah, just for Sunday cruising around. I ended up leaving there pretty decent time.
I think you got home at like 5 or something.
Mhm.
Wasn't too
That's
bad,
not
really.
bad.
It was
Yeah, I
still
want
light
to
out.
say like 1:30 I left. Which one I gained an hour coming or
Yes.
yeah, I gained an hour coming back, but I was slow going home just because I was taking my time. You know,
You're not in a
got
rush,
fuel.
which helps.
No, wait, wouldn't you have lost an hour?
No, you
I lose it when I go there. I gain
no.
it coming back.
No,
no,
the
you
other way
gain,
around.
you gain one going there. Yeah.
East.
Yeah,
Sunrise
yeah,
and
you
North.
add it to the clock. Yes, I'm saying like you lose the hour because it's a later in the day.
Oh.
It
Sorry,
feels
yes.
an hour later when you get home. Yeah, because
Yes.
it cuts an hour off the time.
Yeah, yeah. So
hypothetically.
yeah, technically I did. Yeah,
Yeah, because we're always an hour late whenever we're like, we'll be there at 9 o'clock, and it's like, actually, that's 10 because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
dumb. But
yep. Anyway, yeah, no, I got home at a pretty decent time. Like we all just kind of decided, like, yeah, we're good. I also, in the morning of Sunday though, to fix the rear shock, the upper was fine, like where it mounts up to the top was fine. It was the lower on the axle. I'm like, well, the nut's still there. I'm like, I wonder if I can just shove a bolt through it, like through the nut. Put a washer on the bolt, put the head of the bolt where the nut is, and then it'd just be a stud again, but it'd be a smaller bolt because I went through this nut.
Yeah.
right.
So I used a 3/8 bolt,
Mm-hmm.
and it held like small, like
3/8 is a decent bolt for
the size of a Sharpie,
yeah.
Yeah.
about.
It's
Held the shock perfectly fine, didn't break, lasted all day. Figured perfect. It rubbed a lot because of it being so much lower.
Mhm.
It rubbed a lot more that day.
yeah.
And I had Steve in the passenger seat, not calling him fat or anything, but
Extra weights, extra
90%
weight.
of the time I don't wheel with a passenger. Not like in the hangover run I do, but like I don't do crazy stuff there.
Right.
But everywhere else, like I'm used to not rubbing because it's just me in the driver's seat. Whereas like I had a passenger and I had a blown shock, technically, I guess. But,
Yeah,
oh well.
it adds up. Every little bit of
Yeah,
bit of
because it
weight.
was. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that worked out good. connected the exhaust in the morning. Like I said, then met up with Josh. Josh brought me the bolt, is what it was.
Sure.
I was like, hey, can you run to a hardware store and like give me
any.
I was like, give me a
bolt.
1/4 inch bolt, a 3/8 bolt, and then the next size up, three. Give me 2 bolts of each size, 3 to 3.5 inches long, and all the hardware to go with. He's like, all right. It was like $6.
Oh yeah,
Because they're cheap.
standard zinc bolts, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, perfect. So yeah, slapped that back in. Got everything ready to go. We went out, like I said, just cruised around, didn't do nothing crazy. Yeah, met up with the guy, the really nice black JK. That had the axle sold, and then the 6-liter swapped blue JK were from damn near Ohio, like way out in Indiana land.
Indianapolis.
Way past that actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I figured as much. But
Indianapolis is only like 45 minutes from the Badlands, maybe.
yeah, really not that far.
But yeah, so they were way out, almost Ohio. So they were like, oh, and they drove. They didn't trailer, so they had to drive it back. In the one video of the blue one going nuts, I'm shocked he didn't fuck more shit up. But he's like, yep, time to go home. Like, fucking, I'm glad you can still drive there, but damn.
He's like, yep, that's all we got today, and just
Oh, and it was also stick shift. I forgot that blue LS swap
Mhm.
had a stick shift, which was pretty cool.
Was it a crew cab or was it a 2-door?
4-door.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's some pictures in here of a 2-door one, so I was just seeing. I'm clicking through right now. It's way back, but
Yeah, it's like a really nice shiny blue.
yeah, that one's like a matte blue almost.
Oh, that's a TJ. That's Trey.
Right. I remember seeing a blue one in the pictures. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Ooh,
well, Jeremy wasn't there on Sunday, so he didn't have a or the guy was there on Saturday, but he wasn't driving around with us as much
Right.
Saturday. He was doing his own thing. But then Sunday, there wasn't a lot of people there, so he's like, oh, like I remember you guys from yesterday. Like, let's go out.
Mhm.
So that's what we did.
he was just wheeling with whoever was there, basically.
Yep.
Makes sense. Interesting.
Fun.
So yeah, Sunday went easy. Got back to the camper, let Blue out, loaded all my stuff up.
So she did good for pretty much the whole weekend. Just
Yeah, she hung out a lot. Everybody loves her always.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping to kind of bring her on this next weekend, but I don't really have anywhere to stay. I could probably camp at Rich's, but then I have to have a generator, and I'm like, I don't really care. Also,
not that much.
Also, Kyle Mang is gonna have a hotel room, so I'm just gonna bunk with him.
That's a lot
I'm gonna be
better
leaving.
choice.
We have to be at the meeting place at 10. So
On
I'm like,
Saturday
that's
morning?
fucking I'm like, that's plenty of time.
For a 3-hour drive or 3.5 or whatever. like-
2.5.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah.
thought it was more than
Well,
that.
it's only Dubuque. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not. We're
I
not anywhere
suppose.
past that.
So
not
yeah,
bad.
say you spend 3 hours, like
Yeah.
you leave at 7 and be there in time. Like
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, exactly. So I
bad at
figured,
all.
screw it, I'll go up there. But yeah, he has got a hotel room, so I'll stay Saturday night and then just come back home. Like I'll be home by 9 or 10 a.m. probably Sunday.
Yeah.
So won't be too bad, and I'll get a lot better fuel mileage because I'm only hauling the Jeep now. I
Oh,
unloaded. Yeah, I unloaded the camper today.
Mhm.
I actually unpacked it today because ever since I came back from wheeling, Sunday night I had work the next day. I've been farming all week.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, it's been super nice out. There's no reason not to be outside fucking doing
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So yeah, Monday, I don't know what I did. Oh, okay. So I've been working till the elevators close at 7 or 8. So Monday, Tuesday we went to the elevator that closes at 7. So we hauled till 7. Then after they close, we bring the 2 tractors with wagons. So there's 2 sets and then a semi.
Mm-hmm.
So we have enough work. Like we work until all of them are full. So it's
So in the
8:30.
morning, first thing in the morning, you can start
Yes.
running
Yeah.
without waiting.
You got
for them
3
to fill
loads
it.
right there.
yeah. So yeah, we run into the night, and that way we also can like wake up
You
later.
could-
Later.
Yeah.
But that also means we got to work till 8:30, 9 o'clock. So Monday night, hold on. I can't-
Jesus,
hold on.
Murphy,
He doesn't
use your
remember.
brain.
Poor kid can't remember anything.
It's all that bush light you've been drinking.
Disgusting.
Okay, yeah. So sorry,
my
I know I
God.
figured it out.
Are you sure?
Monday night, I went over to Cam Calkins' house.
Yeah.
Turns out I matched with a girl on Tinder who
Oh.
is like in that friend group.
Okay.
So she wanted to meet me, and we all hung out there.
interesting.
Did you get some?
No,
Oh.
not that night.
Oh.
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 Actually, no, not yet. Period.
Oh.
Hey, tonight's the opportunity, but we'll
no,
we'll
it's
see.
not. You're not.
Stop
well,
lying
it's
to
another period.
yourself.
And I'm like, maybe not the first time. If it was the second or
Jesus.
third, we'll see. But
I'm glad we're an hour in because no one's listening. Fucking
Sorry,
right.
Joanne.
sorry, Joanne. Anyway, so I met her. But Cam is working stupid hours, so he's like, I'm going inside and go to bed. It was probably 11. No, probably it was like 10:30.
Sure.
He's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, fair enough. I don't blame you. I want to go to bed too.
Mhm.
So yeah, there was 4 of us. We all hung out till about 10. Then I start talking with her like as I'm walking to my car, and we just start talking, and I was like, well, okay, look, let's just hang out in the car because it's cold as fuck. So we
Sure.
sit in her car. We sit in her car till 12 fucking 30.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my fucking God, I need to go home. Like, I love talking to you. Like,
But
I just got to go home.
Actually exhausted, going to fall asleep
Yeah.
right here.
Go home, wake up at 6:30, fucking go farm again till 9 p.m.
Yep.
Go back to Cam's the next night,
Attaboy.
hang out with everybody.
Go do the
Well, then
same
then she comes over to my house.
Ooh.
And then we talk till 2 in the fucking morning.
Oh.
And I'm like, I gotta be up at fucking 7 o'clock. Like, fuck me. I'm tired, dude.
You're exhausted, and you're like, let's stay up till
Oh,
2.
and then we did it again last night.
Jesus Christ, kid.
And so
you still
I am,
have a guy, lady?
she's on her period still.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
like,
been 3 days.
yeah, it
Marcus.
lasts a week, bud. So yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway. So yes, I'm just
So
fucking.
you're exhausted.
I am like tonight. I don't know if she's coming over, but like I'm gonna be sleeping by midnight. I don't fucking care.
You say that now.
I'll kick her
Sleep.
ass out.
Be asleep by 10.
Just fall asleep on the way home.
Cause an accident.
Yeah.
Those
Oh, but like,
mid-drive naps hit different.
yeah. She asked me something about like my house, and I was like, I wouldn't know. I haven't been at my house without you in it for more than like 2 hours. So like this whole week, and then before that, I was wrenching on the fucking
Been outside
Jeep,
the whole time.
building the camper, and then at Badlands. So I haven't been home by myself for more than 2 hours since last Thursday.
That's
And been awake.
like that's the same.
Yeah, and been awake.
That's the same way I am. I'm either asleep
Yeah.
or I'm eating dinner, getting ready for bed. Like
Mm-hmm.
you're getting off work at 6. These are like 3 hours where I need to be asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess I live here. Okay, like I'm
Yeah.
going to sleep
Yeah.
now.
I had
Same
that-
thing, but way less sleep for me this week.
Yeah,
I
well
had that
that's
same thing
your own
Tuesday. It was-
Tuesday.
Shit got. I went in at 9. Shit was broken all day. I put in a support ticket and was like, well, shit's fucked. Like, I've done everything I've usually done to fix this. I'm going to go home. Left work. I went to Menards real quick because I needed something. Before, I was in and out of Menards in like 10 minutes.
Which is a record for Menards. It always takes an hour.
Oh, no, I'm pretty good there.
Depending on
I'm good
what I'm going
everywhere.
to. If Luann or other people that I know there aren't there, then I'm in and out because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to sit and bullshit
yeah.
and talk to you for half an hour.
Yeah.
But I was in and out of there before I got in my car. I already had text saying something was messed up, which it wasn't. So whatever.
Sure.
Went home, ate, watched half an episode of Suits, got called back to the office. I was there till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Fuck.
And, well, like 3:30. So by the time I got home, showered, and crawled onto the couch because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. If I wake Tori up, she's gonna be up.
She's gonna whoop your ass.
Yeah, that too. So fell asleep on the couch for maybe an hour, hour and a half. Got up and went back to work. I was like, man, this fucking sucks.
Your schedule's like you're on call, but you work hourly. So there's no like, there's no benefit to working late hours one day. Really,
I personally, I fucking love going into that office
when no one's
after
there
8 o'clock
because it's empty.
because it's empty. So like, I have a tuner in my office. Well, multiple. But I upgraded my amp. So I have multiple inputs on my amp now.
Okay.
So one is for all my tuners so I can listen to each station. And then I put a Bluetooth module in and then upgraded the wiring and all my speakers. So I have 4 speakers in my office.
So you can just listen to your stuff.
Yes,
whenever
I
you're
was
not-
listening to Black Sabbath for like 6 hours that night. I just put on a playlist.
because all the stations were working. So you're like, good enough. Let's just do this.
It was a fucking disaster. It's so weird, this issue. It happens like every 3 months, or it's a decent enough time in between.
Yeah, it's not consistent every week.
Yes.
It's just some random.
And every time I fix this issue, I'm always left pointing somewhere else to the cause. But so like BZG is on satellite
Yeah.
all day long, 24/7. So BZG's throwback, because it will throw it back from national programming to local, so it'll play our ads and then
Right.
it'll go back to music and then their stuff.
Yes.
It will stop doing that.
So it'll just like it gets stuck in between the switch.
So
or it loses like
what
connection.
technically happens is Stork, which is the program for our satellite,
Mm-hmm.
it will play through all of its stuff, and then it hits a wait 420.
Nice.
I know, which is a 6-minute silence, basically.
Okay.
It then sends a signal to Audio Vault, which is our automation software, that
Mhm.
says unmute and start.
Right.
Audio Vault plays through its stuff. Then it has a return to Stork indicator, which says mute AV, start Stork.
It's basically a digital switcher.
Yeah,
switching
it's
back
a
and
digital
forth.
relay. That's literally what it is. So it just throws back and forth. So it'll stop doing that,
Mhm.
and then either our traffic software, which that's all cloud based, they'll drop out constantly. I'll have audio vaults disconnect. I'll have people having connection issues, and it just cascades to there until everything is broken.
It'll be one little issue and then a different little issue,
Yes,
and it'll
and
keep.
it just keeps getting bigger. I had one of our streaming machines just kept constantly disconnecting, reconnecting. Our traffic software was disconnecting. BZG was throwing fits the entire time. I had another issue with uploading to our local server for shit. And I think the worst was SPL's the way we deliver audio to the site, to the
Right.
tower.
Yeah.
It would get really it would sound totally fine. It would get muffled worse and worse, and then it would just completely cut out audio.
So like a signal degradation issue.
Yes. And then eventually it would disconnect.
Once it gets to so bad a quality, it would just
Yes.
completely cut it.
And then I could reconnect it, but it would error out, but I couldn't get it to fully reconnect, and it just
okay. It's
threw
all
a shit.
fucked up.
Yeah. So I spent, like 15 hours just trying to get it all. Usually what happens is when I start catching it, because sometimes like BZG will just do that on its own. Because our automation software runs on Windows 7.
The best Windows.
Love that. It's better than Vista.
It's the best Windows.
Vista was worse than Vista was
don't
the
you-
worst.
Windows
one.
8 was
I
like
know,
a
that's
word
what I'm
with you.
saying.
Windows
It's
8
better than
was a
Vista.
stepping stone.
Windows 8 was disgusting.
Yeah,
It should
but
be ashamed of itself.
usually when it starts, when I realize like, okay, this is going to be an issue, if I restart the modem, the router, bolt the switches all at the same time, it'll knock its shit off and be fine.
You basically give it one hard reset and everything.
Yes, the network a hard reset. I did that 3 times and it didn't fix it.
So did you eventually end up actually fixing it?
No, every single time we have this issue, I point at something else. I pointed at it's a audio vault machine. I
Right.
pointed at it's the upstairs server. This time it was, so when I came back in at like 7:30 in the morning after working
Till 4 o'clock. or
yeah,
whatever.
4 a.m. I restarted the audio vault machine and the production machine in Q, and then I restarted the AV and production in SPL.
Okay.
And I kind of went back and forth because our PD, I had her make me up like an hour and a half to 2 hours of music per station.
That way, if you had to cut the
I
satellite,
have a shutdown playlist now.
so instead of silence,
So a buffer time, basically.
Yeah, so I can shut the audio vaults down with some audio going over, so it's kind of a lot nicer. So
yeah, there
I
might
shut-
be like an abrupt cut when you switch to it.
I
but-
try to just fade.
Dial it so it's not jarring.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, like I said, at least you have a buffer time now.
Yes.
Where it gives you
It's just
time to
not
get to
off.
the station and fix and figure shit out.
There's
Well,
not
so-
downtime.
No, it's only if I'm in the studio doing it.
Yeah, you have to do it.
You have to
manually.
manually load the song up in Adobe Audition, play it,
and then
Mm.
raise
switch
one
it
volume,
over,
drop the other volume.
and then you can shut the computer down.
Mhm.
So that seemed to fix the issue this time.
Okay.
But again, it's always weird because it's not like, oh, it's fixed.
Mhm.
It's slowly like traffic will come back, my stream will come back, my STL will come back,
So-
and then BZG will like figure its shit out.
So it's like it slowly gets worse,
and then it slowly gets better.
That's
Yeah.
a super weird issue.
It's that I think over the 5 or 6 times this has happened, I think what happens is some machine in the studio, freaks out. Either its static IP somehow gets messed up, so it's trying to reach out for another, and it's handing out other static IPs,
It's
which it
constantly
shouldn't.
bouncing IPs. That's why it's losing stuff. Maybe.
And then it's basically loading the network traffic up, and that's why it affects other things. And then whenever that certain piece of hardware gets a restart or a hard reset, it brings that load on the network back down, and then it stabilizes.
It's almost like there's a queue of errors that it has to work through
well,
to get back to
so
zero.
the other weirdest thing, now mind you, we have replaced our router, and I have 2 brand new switches.
Sure.
So when I put the new switches in, I just put Ethernet to Ethernet,
Right.
which is how they were all designed before.
Yeah.
Well, I have 4 SFP ports on both sides. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to run, because they were configured to run 2 and 2.
Right.
So they're set to be just 2 traffics, and it uses one whole backplane for communication between the 2 of them.
Right.
I plugged those in, and it made it worse.
What?
Yeah.
Using it the way it was intended to be used,
Well,
with SFP instead of Ethernet.
using it with more processing power made
Yeah.
it worse.
That's super weird.
Yeah.
That's like it's letting it clog up more data
Faster. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Have you considered burning the building down?
Oh, every day.
you know what's funny?
Hypothetically.
My manager, because I'm a head, I guess, I'm a department head of myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
but,
I'm the only one.
You are the maintenance manager, but it's only you maintaining.
When I came back before I left the second day, because we had a meeting for some stuff, and I wanted to double check everything, and I was hoping by that time it would have just
sorted
worked
out.
itself out, which it did.
Okay.
So I was like packing up, getting ready to leave, and he was like, well, this, and that. And I was like, I mean, I have a bunch of acetone and a blowtorch sitting there, so if you want to just, let it go when I'm gone, I'm totally fine. And he just kind of nervously laughed, and I was like, I'm not fucking kidding.
You're like, if something happens, I will not be heartbroken.
Yeah. I'll just get to buy all new stuff, and it'll be set up correctly.
Insurance will pay for it.
Yeah. So.
You're like, oops, hey, all the servers melted.
Oh
Whoopsies.
no. Yeah. So
that's how that went.
The problem's fixed, and I'm not going into work tomorrow.
So you're out of hours for the week.
Yeah.
You've done all the things you can do.
Well, and like when it comes to that, it's somewhat always funny, because everybody starts texting me, emailing me like, oh, this is broken, and I just have to go around the building like, shit's fucked, just babysit and deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix it, and it's not working.
Yeah, if it's not fixed tomorrow, remind me. For right now, I'm busy.
Yeah. So it's fixed.
That's good.
It was funny watching everybody freak out. I'm like, happens every couple months. It's fine. Just give it time.
Yeah, I do this all the time. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like the meme of the dog in the house. This is fine. Everything's fine. But like
The whole house.
The whole house is on fire.
Yeah, but it's literally, it's like you're the dog, but then there's a second one that comes in. It's like, oh, like you live like this? It's like, yeah.
Yeah. All
And
the time.
Once a month. This is how it is.
all the time.
Pull it up, Brad. Go ahead.
I'm working on it. I'm already ahead of you.
It works 100% of the time.
Why is it small pictures?
Never.
Hate it here.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Michael Scott.
No, it works 60% of the time.
Yeah, that's me at
100% of the
work.
time.
It's fine.
Everyone's like, "Oh my god, the building's on fire." Nah, it's normal. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, fuck. How much more do we want to go on this today? We're probably hour 15, hour 20.
I feel
Well,
like I've talked a lot about
Did you
Chiefs.
forget to look at your time?
Time?
Yeah. Did you not start at stopwatch?
Oh, I did.
Oh, what are we at?
It's on hour 18 right now,
Oh,
but I don't
okay.
know if I
That's not
start. I think I
bad.
started
I
about
mean,
a
we
minute
can go
late.
a little bit more. I tell you guys about all my loofahs?
Oh, your fucking plants.
Yeah.
The plastic ones you buy at the store.
No.
I get confused every time
the
he says it.
natural
I'm like,
ones.
what are you talking about?
So, man, let me tell them things are fucking weird.
Do they're food?
They're a plant. You can eat them.
You don't eat
What do
them.
you do with them?
You
You loofah them?
You put body wash on them and scrub yourself?
I'll get into that. So they grow. Well, pull up a picture so I can kind of show what.
Yeah, I
you're
honestly
talking
don't know
about.
what the fuck you're talking
They grow like a cucumber or like a zucchini, basically.
about. I don't think I've ever seen a
No,
zucchini
do like a
grow.
plant one.
I typed plant and that's what came up. What do you want here? This one, the one that looks literally like a cucumber. Okay.
So that's how they grow on
Well,
the
that
vine.
doesn't look like a loofah.
Oh, it's amber.
Ah.
There. These over here.
So
Mhm.
they grow like that and they get dark, and then you cut them off the stem. And I found
Oh, the middle of them looks. That's all full of holes.
Yeah.
like a
It's
like an
a
actual
well, it's
body
a-
wash loofah.
It's a sponge.
because it is a body wash loofah. It's a loofah plant.
Uh-huh.
But so they grow like a cucumber, zucchini, straight,
Yeah.
and then you cut them off the vine when they're green, because
Mhm.
it's way easier to get all the seeds and stuff out.
Okay.
And you roll them like a rolling pin on the counter, because it kind of cracks and gets that fiber material kind of
Mhm.
loose.
kind of breaks it up.
And then you just kind of use your hand as like a separator to pull all the skin off.
Okay.
And then you're basically left with that fibrous material. And then where those holes are, it's like aloe. It's kind of like this watery, slimy goo shit.
Interesting.
And then so you, what I did is I put them in the sink with some warm water going, and you just roll it back and forth and twist it, and
And
then
then
you
work all that out of
pull it, and you just push all that like aloe vera shit out of it,
Interesting.
and then
And
you let
then-
them dry.
Hmm.
So
then
they're
they-
super weird. And you know what the weirdest part is? They smell like green peppers.
That is super
So
weird.
then, what do you do with them?
Well, then you can, cut them into pieces. You can use them for like dishes or in the shower.
It's just a
I
sponge.
think what I'm gonna have my mom do, because she makes soap and shit.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have her make like charcoal soap with the loofah cut up in there. I think
Okay.
that'd be kind of cool.
Be interesting.
So I
Be
don't
good-
know.
A good use for them,
I
I
was
guess.
like, hey, cool. These are 50 cents for a seed packet. Fuck it.
Fuck it. And then they just,
Mm.
they grew better
Yeah, I was
than
like, you
everything
keep
else.
referring to them as like loofahs. I'm like,
I almost
I-
brought one in,
I was like,
but
I
I was
don't-
like, we're
I
probably
was
not
like,
gonna
I
get
do
to it.
not understand what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and it confuses me every time. I'll
That's-
be honest.
The plastic when you buy at the store is based off this.
Yeah.
Understandable.
The
That makes
OG.
sense.
So yeah, I think my biggest one was about yay big.
About 2 foot.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Oh
impressive.
fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big
So-
mover.
God damn.
I mean, you guys have seen my garden, so I have over the T-posts, I have 1.5 inch PVC that I cut for 8 foot.
I think so.
And I have eyelets, and then that's where my lights go. But I also strung up string to
Mhm.
kind of pull everything together and keep tension.
Hmm.
It weighted the string and the lights down so much that you could, like, it was at eye level.
When normally they're like 8 foot tall.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Hefty
There's some
boys.
big fuckers.
Big heavy boy.
But
Damn.
yeah,
Hmm.
got a couple of those. What I found out is, so they go from light green to dark green, and then they kind of get lighter green blotches on them. That's when they're
That's when they're
Mature.
essentially finished.
enough, because I pulled one that was really dark green,
Mhm.
and it, like, the fibers didn't hold up. It's flat. It didn't dry out in its
Okay.
normal shape. So I have like 8 more sitting on the vine, but it's getting too cold. They're never gonna finish up in time.
Yeah.
No, not at this point. Not with it 50 some degrees outside.
So I ordered, and if you want to pull it up, because I sent you the picture, I ordered a walk-in greenhouse for the basement. It's I measured it out, and it's a little bit bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
You have
Considering-
officially no room in the basement anymore.
Yeah.
Considering there's his old greenhouse on
Yeah,
the right side.
And that was like 2x1. by 6 feet tall?
Yeah,
or something,
yeah. So this is 57 by 57 by 75.
Oh my god. That's
I'm shocked you didn't hit the rafters.
it fits.
It's like this far away from the rafters,
say it
and this
fits
is the
perfectly.
only place that I can put it, because
Mhm.
if you look, the
The
furnace
ducting? Yeah.
return and a
It's right
pressure
there.
line for the
condenser.
no, there's
Or-
2 lines. There's 3 technically in there. But they go throughout
Either
the
way.
house.
Yeah.
That is the only place where I could actually fit it, where it wasn't going to totally be in the way.
Mhm.
It is very cramped in my basement
It is
now.
very much in the way.
But, and I don't know if I talked about this last podcast, I found out that you can take your hot pepper plants out of the ground, you
Mhm.
you prune them down like you would like a rose bush, really short,
Okay.
put them in pots, and take them inside.
I believe it.
So
You can basically transplant them to indoors.
yeah, for the winter, and like
They'll just keep growing essentially.
hibernate them
Yeah.
basically, and then you can take them back out so that you're not spending.
They don't have to die every year and you reseed.
Well, the thing that sucked is, I mean, I did not really get a shitload of peppers until like 3 months ago.
Oh, it's probably less than that even. It
Yeah.
wasn't very long ago.
No. So like the fact that I can take a fully mature plant
Mhm.
in the ground and put it back outside, that's going to save so much time.
Yeah, essentially save it and then
Yeah.
restart it at the beginning of next year, not most of the way through the year.
Yeah. So yeah, I got to go get pots now. I trimmed them down before I got here.
Just 3D print some pots.
Fuck. No. Then I have to buy filament because I'm
That's cheaper than
almost
pots.
out. No, it's not.
Nah,
The
but-
pots that I want are $2.
It's probably cheaper then, yeah.
I have plant stuff.
Do you?
So my aunt came and planted some flowers in like really big pots out in front of my front porch.
Okay.
Probably like knee-high pots.
And you killed them, did you?
Yep. But
Yup.
well, okay, so I was gone for like a full weekend or something, and when I came back, it was like the hottest weekend of the year.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
you
like, they
never
just
watered
didn't
'em.
survive.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, I might as well just stop watering them. I kept trying to water them for probably another month, and I was like, this is just a lost
And
cause. So
they're
I just
dead.
gave up.
They're just not coming back.
But then, like the last couple of weeks, it's been raining so much. Like what she told me with these plants is that when they die,
What are they? Do you know?
I don't know. When they die in the winter, they drop seeds and then they replant themselves in
Yeah.
the spring.
Okay.
I think they already did that.
Do you think they died
From,
and
like,
replanted?
From like July to now, like when they
Jesus.
died, like the first round, I want to say that like they all just dropped shit in the middle, or like the middle is just regrowing new
Mhm.
out because they were all like she transplanted them from her garden to mine,
Gotcha.
Right.
so they were already full bushes. I think what happened is like the center root ball still had really good like new stuff growing,
Mhm.
but it didn't get enough sunlight because when it was full, like when it was before I killed it, it didn't get enough sunlight to actually grow that little stuff in the middle. But
Okay.
then all the flowers kind of died, and now like the middle of all three of them are growing again, like very green, very leafy. I'm like, man, procrastination works, and I still haven't watered them. They still look great.
Now
They're
it's
getting
raining.
watered right now.
I say it's going to rain every other day for the next month.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Well-
like I'm like I kind of like I'll see what happens in the wintertime. I'm hoping they come back in the spring, but
They might
if
grow
not,
back.
she has tons more she can
Yeah.
give me
They
too.
might
I
grow
kind of
back
had
just
that
enough.
same thing with my hydrangeas. I thought I killed them,
Mm-hmm.
and so I cut them like to the ground. I cut them, and then I realized that they stem back out from
From a cutoff.
well, yeah, basically, because they
Essentially.
dry out, so it's like wood,
Mm-hmm.
and then they sprout out from that. And I was like, oh shit, I took this big of a hydrangea plant and I cut it down to this.
Mhm.
So now my poor hydrangeas like got to here. I was like, oh,
It
poor.
grew a couple of inches
Yeah.
instead of a foot.
So I'm like, well, that's gonna take a couple years to grow back.
yeah, that'll never be the same again.
Yeah.
Dude, hostas are fucking resilient.
I have like 4 hostas.
I have
in
a
the
row
front.
of them around my garage. Like, it's probably the side you guys never
Yeah.
even see.
Mhm.
It's towards my one
Neighbor's
neighbor's,
house.
not to my
Mhm.
open
Yeah.
yard.
Yeah.
It's all along my garage, dude. Every winter, they're like, or like late fall, they'll be down to just like little itty bitty stalks, like that are gray as shit, no color at all.
Mhm.
I rake that area smooth, like
And they
throw
pop right
like,
back up.
same with all the leaves and pine needles, mostly pine needles because that's their side where the fucking pine trees are. Rake it all out. Fucking literally next spring, fucking back up half the height of the wall of my garage.
Yeah, my
yeah.
hostas actually bloomed this year. Which
Yeah.
I didn't know that they did that. I was like, why are you growing this long ass
Yeah.
stalk out of here? And then
Yeah.
Joanne was like, oh, they bloom.
Mhm.
I was like, oh,
Yeah, mine did.
Well, they
Neat.
haven't.
Well, I'll say mine are old enough that they do. Like,
Wow.
I'm used to that. But yeah, I'll say like when I rake it up, they're like 3 foot long stalks. I'm just like fucking sweep it all up, throw it in the fucking in the garbage can, and take it
this
down and throw
last winter was my best winter. I only killed 2 things.
That's not bad.
So,
it out.
well,
Tori wasn't one of
3.
them.
Yeah, 3 including
Not
my
yet.
strawberries, which I'm hoping I need to get in there and trim them back a little bit. But
Transplant those inside?
no,
No.
I'm gonna just get some frost cloth and be done.
Eh, fair.
Because I went heavy last year and I did straw and then I covered them with a tarp.
Mm-hmm.
And we had like a couple warm-ish days before it really started getting cold. And I think it just baked them.
It basically suffocated them in
Yeah.
that little cover.
So I'm just gonna get some frost cloth and call it good enough.
At this point, I'm just waiting for winter to kill everything in my backyard. It's overgrown and it keeps raining.
Oh, I mean,
So
have you seen my front yard?
Have you seen my backyard? It's
Yeah,
like
but nobody can
Dude,
see your
it's
backyard.
fucking bad.
It's so tall.
I let Blue out there, like, if I bring her over for the podcast, I'm like,
you're
In
gonna
the jungle,
oh, dude,
the
yeah.
mighty
It's fucking-
jungle.
It's because that was before we
I was-
left for our trip.
I was like,
Mm.
every time I've been meaning to mention it, I'm like, I think you just gave up, and you're like, I'll get it in springtime.
Yeah,
I'll
pretty
weed it
much.
all, mow it, like redo all the landscaping.
All the plants on the side are way too big. I had to like cut them
you,
off.
you like
Just
I
till
need
it.
to.
your boss didn't do it because they were moving out. They didn't want to.
Just
you
till
didn't
it.
do it because you're like, I don't know how much to cut.
Well,
You
I'd
know
be
what
gone
you
for 2
should
weeks,
do?
And it would keep growing, and I'm like, it's too far to go.
Come spring,
Put a bee box out.
gravel, gravel it,
just
asphalt.
yank everything out, put them in pots just really shittily, and just take them to your mom. Be like, here's your plants back.
No, I'm gonna literally cut them off at the ground and like dig the dirt out. Like every plant back there is gonna disappear because there used to be a giant tree on the backside of that fence, so nothing grew really well.
Mm.
They took the tree out early this year, so now there's a bunch of sunlight coming through, so everything just keeps growing.
Yeah, I've never
Damn.
seen it that crazy.
Because well, one, they probably got taken care of sometimes.
yeah, but also like it
but-
does make sense when you give a small backyard, a fenced in backyard that's like this. I don't know.
That's small.
What is it?
it's 30
by
30 by 50 ish.
Yeah, maybe.
if that, even probably
Yeah.
25 by 40 or something. But
yeah.
but like it never got a bunch of light 'cause there's a huge tree there.
Mhm.
It lost a branch in a big storm, so they took the whole thing down. Now it's a bunch of light, and it's raining once a week and then sunny the rest of the week.
Mhm.
Like the stuff back there just exploded, and I'm like, it's
Yeah.
every time I'm like,
I'll say your sprinkler is still out there. I'm like, that's funny. You don't need that.
it's on the deck right now.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been laying
You
there.
finally
Because,
grabbed
like,
it.
I get off work at 6 and I'm already exhausted. I'm like, I don't want to go mow this fucking.
I'm
dumbass
not doing this
lawn.
shit.
So I'm like, I'll do it on a day it's nice, and then it's never nice.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
just like-
getting to that. Well, I mean, look at
And now it's 50 degrees out during the day.
the plan me and my mom had to get in the chicken coop finished up and the landscaping done. We were gonna rent a fucking bobcat
Mhm.
and level and kind of smooth out some of the ground, and then backfill where the chicken run's gonna be, and then finish putting blocking, and then I could work on getting the caging and all that set up.
Right.
I talked to her today. I was like, yeah, so when do we want to do that? She's like, I'm not fucking doing it. I was like, all right, sounds good. She's
Fair
like,
enough.
it's fucking raining. What the fuck are you going to do? I'm like,
Not
fair,
not much
but
you
like,
can, yeah.
we need to do that.
That's
Because I got to
fine.
start ordering shit for them. Because I think either the first week of April
Mhm.
or the last weekend in March, I'm going to order chickens.
Okay.
And then by basically this August and September, they should be laying eggs next year.
Yeah, once they're 4 or 5 months, whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you gonna order
they-
chickens or just go to the store and get eggs?
gonna
and
order
just
'em.
Crack them on the
No.
ground. A little
Christ.
lame.
Are you ever gonna have them as meat chickens?
So, interesting thing that I found out when we were at Oktoberfest at Brian's, because I was like, oh, it's cool outside. I need to get on this.
Mhm.
So the chickens that I was recommended to get are Barrett Plymouth Rocks.
Okay.
Barrett Rocks, basically.
Because weren't you gonna get Rhode Island Reds originally, or
I can't
no?
remember. Pull up a Rhode Island Red because I forget what the fuck they look like. It's been so long since I've done chickens. I haven't done chicken since
Well, they're
fucking
the
middle school.
like the generic.
Oh
ass,
yeah, that was
like, the
my
normal chicken.
right when I was when it was a joke and it wasn't serious.
Oh, it's serious now.
I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get some of these guys.
What's the other one? A Plymouth Rock
Plymouth Rock chicken.
chicken.
They're black with white tipped feathers.
That is the other generic chicken.
Yes.
That is the generic rooster chicken.
Yes. But I've been told that they're very roadhouse. They're very cold hardy, which is good for our area.
Good for an area that gets essentially snow most of the time.
Well,
not most
the
of the time, but
what I've kind of noticed the trend is now is it gets cold,
Mhm.
we get no snow, and then out of nowhere we get butt fucked by a crazy winter storm for
Mhm.
1 to 2 weeks, and then it all melts, and then we kind of go back to cooler
It goes
weather.
from 10 degrees to 50 degrees every other week.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous back and forth swings.
Yeah. And I mean, the chicken coop is insulated. You need to have it up to like 40 degrees, and then they're fine.
Yeah, a heat lamp in there will be plenty.
I'm just going to get the ceramic plates.
Yeah.
And that should be plenty enough. But yeah, so I'm going to get working on that.
Hell yeah.
But between the Subaru and now plants and then chickens,
and then-
so like I have like 4 projects going on all at once.
I'm trying to think of how many projects I have.
Well,
I've got a lot of them, and they're all very intensive.
yeah.
I just wait until the most pressing one is in front of me, and I'm like, I need to do that one.
Well, let's see. By the end of the year, I need to finish the trailer and the truck, and neither one's getting worked on today. So I have to do both of them because I keep breaking. I broke my boss's trailer, blew the tires out, and leaf springs broken, and the light got shattered.
I lost my trailer plate coming back from Badlands.
Just lost. Has it been ripped, or is that a different one I'm thinking of?
No, apparently it was. Well, because I
Oh.
noticed it was hanging,
Mhm.
like, and it sucks. It was probably like 40 miles from my house. And I was like, I'll self-tab it when I get back. I wrote it in my notes on my phone. I go to look today. I'm like, oh, it's just
And
not
it's
there
gone.
anymore. All right, fair enough.
R.I.P.
Fuck.
Hey, DMV, send another, please.
I have 3 stickers that are due. The Jeep was due in September.
Just don't put
So
a
now
sticker
it's
on it.
late.
You don't drive it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna until I have
Just don't.
either better steering and fix the death wobble on these axles or
Mhm.
tons. So I'm just not gonna register it probably for a
Yeah,
year.
at that point, I wouldn't even worry about it.
And then the Subaru is due because it overlapped so long, and it's due in November.
Yeah.
And then when the Fusion or the Subaru blew up, I bought the Fusion
Mm-hmm.
and registered it apparently in November.
Mm-hmm.
So
So all your stuff's due.
I'm,
at once.
oh, I did figure out what the front end problem is with the Fusion though. It is for sure struts. The one on the passenger side is blown, so I'm gonna
Okay.
put struts on it, put a windshield in it, and hopefully sell it.
Sell it, make some decent profit.
Speaking of vehicles and stuff, any update on the Fit?
What update do you want?
It moved. I know that.
I did have to. I had to. Well, there was a funeral in town. They needed parking, so I moved it out of the way. So
Fair enough.
So yes, it did move. Started up, ran great. For the quarter block it drove.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Basically, title's fucked. No point in even trying.
Looked at more fits on
No,
Marketplace.
I'm not gonna try to use it as a parts car because that's just more work for something I don't need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So instead, what's probably gonna happen? Well, there's 2 options. Either my boss's brother buys it, so he works at the steel mill
Oh.
in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
What the guys there do is they'll buy a beater car to keep
Mhm.
in the lot,
Yep.
drive their nice car to as far away they can in the
Yeah.
lot,
Yep.
switch cars to drive the shitty one into work.
I remember
Yeah.
him telling me that. Yeah.
He was kind of interested in it. He's like, well, if you can't drive it, like I can just take it to work and use
Yeah.
it there.
Yeah.
Because who gives a fuck?
Yeah, he's like, does the heat work? I'm like, fuck yeah.
Heat,
it's
AC,
fine.
radio,
Like
manual.
it's a
good.
1.5 liter won't build a ton of heat, but whatever.
Yeah.
And if not,
But it'll get warm fast.
yeah, probably. There's no coolant. It's a little tiny thing. yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it should warm up pretty quick. And if not, then I'm probably just gonna do rallycross with it.
Nice.
Rally cross.
Yeah, SCCA rallycross.
Where besides Rockford?
In the Milwaukee area.
Oh, that makes
competition.
sense. I haven't looked into rally.
Yeah.
Well, if
Basic-
you do, I'll take the Subaru up there because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with that once I buy a decent daily.
well, you could sell it because it has like a title.
Well, yeah, but it's not worth
But
a lot.
Yeah,
It's
Milwaukee.
worth, it realistically
Sell
it's
it to
worth
Nick.
maybe. I don't want to give
No.
it to him because it's too far
it's
gone.
a piece of-
It needs $1,200 immediately, or I have $1,200 worth of fun in it, and I part it out after that and call it good enough.
Yeah, we'll go to like rallycross.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Subaru.
Toyota.
No, Mazda.
Or, yeah,
Toyota.
Mazda.
Yeah, Audi.
Audi's like this stuff.
A Focus.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So they do races in like it's the Milwaukee regions SCCA. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
Byron up to Milwaukee and like there's a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
like-
Most of Wisconsin, basically.
Yeah, there's like 5 different areas, but
It's where the people live in Wisconsin.
yes.
Yeah.
Driving north to Wisconsin, I'm perfectly fine with
It's
that.
fucking zero traffic, 39 the whole way.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah.
Yes, there's three classes that you could go into. There's stock, prepared, and modified.
Mm.
I'm gonna try to run stock because basically you can't alter anything other than OEM spec stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, damn, I could probably like get within the rules really well done and be, somewhat competitive.
Yeah.
Prepared is like you've got proper shocks and you've got, non-DOT tires and stuff.
Well, it's for the people who did stock, broke their shit so much and said,
They're
fuck
like,
it.
I need to just
upgraded it.
not break it, so I might as well
Yeah.
jump class 2
Exactly.
and have harder competition. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Man, all you got to do is start reading that rule book.
Oh, it's not that long of a rule book either. But
Yeah, I'll probably
there's-
I'll if you get it done, I'll come up and do one event in the stock class with mine and break it, and then I'll be like, all right, time to part.
I mean, it's flat dirt driving more or less.
yeah, but
You're not doing like crazy.
but the
jumps.
trans
take
I don't
the
trust with,
Subi.
and the steering,
you just put it in
the
the second and hold it
rack
there.
and pinion that I don't
Put it
trust
in
either.
second and floor it.
And then it's split up front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, classes, and a UTV class. But
Oh.
I looked at the standings for like this current year's like what are the fast cars, what are the slow cars. There's a guy running a 08 Mini Cooper S in the stock front wheel drive class, and he's the fastest right now.
Damn.
I'm like
How many people are in the class? Do you know?
6.
Ooh.
It's not very many.
Sick. What about like the total stock class, like all wheel and rear wheels?
I don't think it like separated out like that, but I can
Okay.
I can
Yeah,
check
like
this-
how many people would you be competing against
Just
like
stock
four-
class.
four-
in
or
just
five.
stock class?
not very many. Like well, it's stock front wheel drive is my
Yeah.
class.
Yes, but like how
Through
many
the whole
people are
stock category.
are in stock category?
I think there was like 12 when I looked at it.
That's
Damn.
not bad.
It's not, and that was from that one event that I looked at. There might be more.
well,
in
but
some.
still, you
Yeah,
know, you
some
got to
can't make
think,
it every now and again.
you know, in
don't
other
know.
scenarios, there's classes that are 30, 40 people long, and it's like, there's
I don't know-
too many people for this.
I don't know what it really.
Entails.
Yeah. So here's the listings of like the finishing. Like, it's an 07 Mini Cooper S. He was running 47, 46, 47. 2006 Rabbit.
Oh.
2002 Mini Cooper S. 2002 Neon. Like,
A 98
So this
Buick
is just
Regal.
autocross on dirt.
yes, it's Rally Cross is autocross.
Is there jumps?
No. Not well. There's like whoops almost.
Okay, so
But
there's
you'll pick the car off the ground, but not like air time.
so there's
Okay.
6.
You're not going to destroy the car. You can run stock cars. You're not gonna destroy
One.
them.
Scroll down a little bit.
So this is the end of the stock class. here.
4.
Stock
So
rear
there's
drive,
11.
One rear wheel drive.
There's
11 people in your stock
in
class.
in stock and stock front wheel drives. I'd be competing in. I guess I
Damn.
don't know if you're competing for anything or if you're just like
Having fun.
if it's
Yeah,
autocross.
they
you're
just
doing it
keep
for
track
fun.
because
And all wheel drive is a Focus RS.
prepared front wheel drive 1, prepared wheel drive 1, prepared all wheel drive 2.
Yeah, like, and this might just be the one event. There wasn't much going on here,
Yeah,
But still,
but still, it's like it's
Yeah,
not a
there's
huge.
15 people for the whole event.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's not bad.
like there's 6 people in stock front. It's like I could like I'll show up to every event. I don't know what do I win.
Would
Fuck,
you want
I'll
to do
go.
like autocross too?
I could. I would have to set the car up a little different, but I could
Yeah.
do both. But
Or like road course? Autobahn is basically rally or autocross, just bigger.
Yeah.
they're,
just a
I mean,
road
yeah,
course.
it's basically the same
Oh,
same
fuck, I was
deal.
going to say gambler, but
could do game. Well, I can't drive.
You
a
have
well,
to, it has to be
yeah.
street legal.
What's
Yeah.
what's the one that you wanted to take your Blue Ranger on years ago?
That was probably
JC
Gambler.
Whitney was
Gambler.
hosting it. Yeah.
That's Gambler. Well, it starts at JC Whitney. They
Mhm.
weren't hosting it per se, but that's where it
Yeah.
starts and ends. But
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that.
I mean, they still do.
There's Wisconsin area has a lot, or like the Quad Cities area has a ton.
Mhm.
They do a lot of gamblers up that way.
Hmm.
And then there's I know it's more popular in Wisconsin because there's a lot more
Nice
a lot
shit.
more, well, not more room, dirt roads and stuff.
Yeah, dirt roads, objectives that are off of dirt roads. Whereas here it's like there are no dirt roads. 'cause there's
Cornfield.
cornfields.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not quite the same
Yeah.
as as the other states, but
Yeah.
so yeah, that might happen. I don't know. It'd be fun to do. Be something different.
Well,
like,
and I mean, you have a car you can't do anything else with,
that's the thing is I either sell it as a parts car, which is
or beat the fuck out of it and get your money out.
yeah, pretty much. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't have to title it. It saves me $400.
Yeah.
It's like I just fucking spray paint some cool scheme on it, get some number stickers for the doors.
Bing, bang, boom, done.
So it's got VTEC.
Mm-hmm.
I was considering hot wiring the VTEC always on. It gives it a nasty idle lope. I'm like, huh. I'm like that's probably what
I'm not a Honda guy. I've never even Googled that.
you're missing out.
Well,
Pull it
let's
up.
hear it. But
know,
yeah,
see if I can-
fucking.
Find a video.
I don't know.
I think I'd found one before, but it's hard to find. But it's like one of those things. It's like,
Would you like to explain what VTEC does?
I I could show this video of how VTEC
Besides
works in
more
60
room?
seconds. So basically, VTEC is on your cam lobe. There's a lobe that isn't used normally that is more aggressive than your other lobes.
At certain RPMs, it activates.
Once you hit a certain threshold, it's a spool valve that pushes a pin through to lock the rockers together to activate the third rocker that would then ride on the more aggressive cam. So basically, once you're above your low RPM like bog area, you're actually making good power. It'll basically lock in the more aggressive cam rocker and make more power.
more
It's
power,
literally
baby.
Adjustable camshaft, basically.
Variable valve timing. So was
Yes, it's some like variable valve timing and something control. Like it's actually like a 6-letter acronym. They only use 4 letters of it though. Is this the one I'm thinking of? It might be. Give it a second. It's got to load because the internet is not working great for some reason.
Damn rain.
Man,
Tin roof.
here we go.
God damn.
I have no idea.
You put it on. I was assuming you want to put it on the left hand.
But
VTEC.
but it's like, it's like maybe it'll run cool and sound sporty and stuff.
So speaking of
that way
running
it's
cool,
that way it's always making peak power.
Yes.
That way I'm never like on off VTEC back
Yeah.
and forth. It'll just constantly be on the base
so
cam.
speaking of sounding cool and making power, not that this would
I'm
make
listening.
power.
We're putting an exhaust on your bike.
No, I wish.
You Sally.
Look,
Do it.
no.
Do it.
All right, I'll make
Do
you a
it.
deal right here, right now.
No.
If I get an R1, you can put an exhaust.
Oh, what
on
the
it.
fuck? You're not getting an R1 though, so
I would
and
hope
you would
so
put an exhaust.
eventually.
You would put an exhaust on it
Oh,
anyway,
yeah.
whether I told you to or not.
Exactly.
This is lame. I hate it
It's
here.
Fireball. But me and Tori were sitting bullshitting about the Subaru,
Mhm.
and she's like, "Well, you need to put an exhaust on it." I'm like, "I'm not putting a fucking exhaust on it. I'll either straight pipe it all the way to the back so it's not in the cab and you
No,
hear it,
Come on, where's the?
or
fun
I'll
in
put a
that?
fucking glass pack on it." And I showed her that 2.5-inch whatever fucking straight pipe video I found and posted in the Discord before we left.
Right.
And I was like, all right, this versus glass pack. And she's like, the first one. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I like the straight pipe better. I'm like, okay, I'll tell Brian.
You're like, you realize that's gonna be louder than what we
Yeah.
already have.
She's like, it sounds cool.
Well, of course it sounds cool because it's in a video, not in real. In real life, you'll get.
I'm like,
you'll be so-
honey, it's rattling the windows.
You're like, I'm so tired of this.
Yeah, it's
She's gonna take one road trip to her dad's, and she's gonna, I
God.
fucking hate you.
Yeah, literally every time you cold start it, you'll be like, this sucks so bad. Let's see if I can open that full screen. Of course I can't. Fucking Amazon. It's like, there's the one we did from Michael's Subaru. Like, straight pipe with just a little tiny muffler on it.
How much did that setup run you?
I don't know. It was like $200 or
Oh,
something.
you got the review.
Yeah, because it's actually the
Good.
exhaust was actually 304 stainless, not some fucking dog shit. So I'm like, and there's like 2 reviews on the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Somebody
I guess
else was like, hey, it's actually decent.
yeah, for a 2-inch kit is $128.
Ooh, that's not bad.
We did 2.5 on his.
Is that just like a?
It's a generic like multi-bend pipe kit.
Okay,
like
cool.
it's
You should
it's just
send
this
that to
guy.
me.
I should buy that just so I have it.
That's what I bought to do my red truck with. I bought one of these kits and I let it sit on the shelf until I got around to using it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Just for like, it's like especially like with I was thinking about for the Jeep, like
Mhm.
it's one bend off the header to get over to the passenger side, another bend to go back, and then just like a small bend to get over the trans cross member.
yeah, a bunch of it's a bunch of little bends you don't have to make, 'cause
And then
you
like
have them.
a couple of 2 and 3 foot chunks of pipe when needed.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you're talking to the wrong part of the mic. It's
Fair enough.
It's front address, not side address. You know,
fair enough.
but no, exactly. Like just having them around just for something to like.
Yeah,
Let me cut
Mhm.
2 bends up real quick, put it
Yeah.
together, and just have this finished.
Yeah.
but yeah, it
So-
does. I would at least like to move the exit of the exhaust
To the
to
bumper.
out.
Yeah, because it's underneath your hatch right now.
Yeah.
So it vibrates
Drones
the whole cab.
probably. Yeah.
Oh, it does. I'm used to it. It was funny. We went to
Mhm.
4-Star on Monday,
God, I hate that place.
and
It's just so mid.
It's so
it's
beyond
not bad.
moderate.
and Joanne and Jason wanted to ride in it, and we got.
Unfortunately.
Oh, and if there's somebody sitting in the back seat, they're definitely definitely feel it.
Yeah, so we pulled out of their driveway. We were going up the hill to get on to the Spring Valley Curves, and they were like,
Joanne's
"This
like,
is horrible." And I was like, "It's not that bad." She's like, "No, this is annoying." And I was like, "Well, you're sitting back there, and I drove across country with it, so I'm just kind of used to
Up
it."
here's not so bad. Back there, probably pretty bad.
Yeah, but they liked it. They were like, for how old and this is a shit box.
How old your 2002 is.
It rides pretty fucking good. So yeah.
State inspections keep all the parts refreshed.
And the
you
old
know.
guy didn't beat on it till you got it. So.
Also true.
Yeah. I don't beat on it that bad.
Good, because it will not take much.
You know what was funny
Only
today?
a 2.5 liter. They're kind of known to be
It's an
bad.
EJ25, which
Yes.
is like the worst known
know.
Subaru
Gaskets.
engine out of there.
Yeah. It's known for
Yeah, I
blown
got
head
the good
gaskets.
one, which I didn't at the time. I just didn't care.
Yeah,
but
saw,
I got
like-
lucky, and they're like when mine blew up, I posted in the Subaru chat. They're like, "How the fuck did you kill a 2.2?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know."
You're like, I thought that was hard. What do you mean?
Yeah, like
I thought it was easy.
I was like, bro, I'm just here. Like, sell me
Yeah.
one. Like, find me one.
Yeah.
I,
Please,
know.
anybody.
I get paid
Yeah.
like tomorrow morning. I think I'm gonna run over and get the shit for an oil change.
Well, you drove 3,000 miles.
Yeah,
it probably needs
it
one.
needs it.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't do one in the Subaru either.
It probably needs one.
No, or yeah, you guys were 2,800. I was 3,700.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
over.
You drove there and back. You're way over. Well, not over for 5,000.
I'll put a nice
but
performance Fram air or not air filter.
fuck you.
Fuck it, Spectre.
No Fram.
Spectre.
No Fram.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
fine,
the
fuck it.
O'Reilly's. It's the O'Reilly's brand filter.
K&N
Oil filter or air filter?
oil.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought you meant air filter.
Yeah, don't use
No.
Fram on
No.
anything.
Yeah.
Fram's junk.
Fram is terrible.
Like it's like Fram SuperTech, and it's like K&N's way up there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a $17 K&N oil
Well.
filter and Castrol Edge high mileage full synthetic.
Yeah, pretty much.
I-
I'm a
I-
Valvoline stan, but
Your
Really?
100
I like
horsepower
Castrol.
Subaru is not going to make a difference. Doesn't matter what.
No. I'm just saying I
1540.
like the Castrol high mileage.
1540
Yeah.
thick boil.
Dude, I
thick oil.
on
Oh,
my
who's-
on the daily drivers, I haven't stuck to a single oil. It's just whatever one
Did
I
you
look at.
see that like the new Kias are running 0-30?
That's totally normal now.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
Turbo
it's
engine
fucking
kits, yeah.
water.
I've seen cars run 0-10. Like
Ugh.
it's
Blech.
because
Yeah.
when I worked at Jack's, I had someone come up looking for like 0-20. I'm like, we don't have that. I'm like, we're not in this.
If it
modern
ain't
age.
10W30, 10W20,
We have-
get fucked.
we had 530 and 1030, and it's like this.
Hey,
will work.
I'll give you half a quart of 1030, and you can piss in the rest of it and shove it in.
Yeah, I'm like,
It might work.
I can offer you like
Mix it
520 was the lowest we had, and they're like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, not my
Understandable.
problem.
Yep, exactly. Bye.
Take
Good
the
luck.
15-minute drive to
Mhm.
brew.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen the new fucking differential oil, the gear oil? It's like a big fucking juice box. It's plastic. It literally looks like a juice box. It's all made out of plastic.
sure.
So like in a tight spot trying to put it into your differential,
Mhm.
you just crush it. It's just a plastic. It's like
Yeah.
a go-go squeeze applesauce. It's like literally like
Oh.
that.
They've had
Well,
they've
or-
had diff oil in bags before.
Or so it's more like on ATVs and stuff, you have like the breather thing for the rear diff. You ever seen those?
Yeah, we know what
It's like a
breather is.
plastic accordion.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it'd be like that.
Well, no, it literally looks like a go-go squeeze. Are you looking at it?
I'm trying to.
Okay.
All the pictures.
I forget what
The
brand
pictures
it
don't
is.
want to open full size.
I don't know what
can't
the
remember
fuck
if
a
it's a
go-go
Lucas.
It's
squeeze
the
is.
apple juice or the applesauce squeeze
Yeah.
packet.
The little green thing with the little twisty thing on
You know-
top, and
you
the
know.
kids suck. Yeah,
Oh,
literally looks like that.
So a
Go-go
a
squeeze.
a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of the pictures want to open full size.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm trying to find one.
Also, look at just Google go-go
Yeah,
squeeze.
go-go
I know what that is. But
Yeah.
open
Yeah,
full
it's funny as
size
shit.
for
But yeah, then it just
$1.
has like the little diff oil or differential oil, like
yeah,
gear oil.
these
thing.
are the ones
yeah.
that I'm used
Oh.
to. Yeah, it's a bag with a,
Yeah.
basically a nozzle on it.
Oh yeah, I've seen
I have
those
not
for a while.
used one before, but I saw one when I did. What did I use it for?
Your Jeep.
No, not for his Jeep. It doesn't get stuff like this.
No,
I'd be surprised if it
I don't
has
even. Yeah, I
oil
don't even
in
know if it has oil. The 8.8.
I don't even
leaks.
know if it
The
has
8.8 has its fucking condensates around the seal. I'm like, it's probably got oil in
They
it.
all do that. It's fine.
Well, I think it must have been the fucking Subaru.
And even then, that seems crazy. You would maintenance that.
I think it was for the trans because the trans uses 80/90.
It would be that then, yeah.
So I was like,
because because
Yeah,
you can't fit a
well,
bottle.
it was
in
the
there.
yeah. Well, no, you could. I just used the long funnel, but
Fair.
to get to the I was there was the type that I needed. There was only the ones in the bags at the store that had
gotcha.
the whatever it was, like it's like 140/70 or whatever.
Sure. Or 75,
Or
140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They only had it. I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna use a bag. So I used it. I'm like, well, this is fucking cool.
Yeah,
like
it's so much better.
I've been in so many positions where it's like I just want I just squeeze the fuck out of the plastic bottle and I'm like, there's still like a quarter left in. I'm like, I don't care.
Or you're barely like you have a funnel in there, you're dripping like a drop in at a time.
Yeah,
so
because you
it's-
can't quite get to the angle. Whereas this is like just squeeze it like a fucking
yeah, use pressure and push it in there.
Mhm.
It will go.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Or
super,
just put a hose on the end of it. Yeah, just
yeah, they're super nice.
yeah.
Makes a hell of a difference.
Damn.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I can't wait to use it like when I actually need it.
You'll like
Yeah.
be at the store.
Like on the Mustang.
those things
On the Mustang where the axle's like right next to the fuel tank. It's a lowered car.
where
it's
there's no
tight as
room
fuck. Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah.
It's like that's where it would come in handy.
hell yeah.
But
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yep.
fair enough.
Alrighty. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, Joanne.